Okie dokie, I believe we are all the way live. Hello and welcome to my graveyard. I am your host of the evening, the Cemetery Man from Salem, Mass. Always taking names, kicking candy ass, live and in living color here with you on Grande's Graveyard. Welcome back to the first October episode for the year 2023. I am super excited to do this show here tonight because last year in October, of course, I was joined by the legendary John Steele as we talked all things Tales from the Darkside season number 1. We've got the whole box set here, the complete series, which with no slip cover, which I'm still mad about. I don't understand why Mike had no damn slip, but that is neither here nor there. Last October, we talked all things Tales from the Dark Side season 1, so I figured this year we kick things off in spooky season, talking all things Tales from the Dark Side season 2, and I am super excited about it. We got the old tier list up here. We've got 24 episodes and absolutely zero regrets tonight here on Grande's Graveyard. I'm super excited to get into this season because it was a lot of fun to show prep for this, and it fit this mood and, atmosphere and season and month and all that so perfectly. So I'm very excited to talk all things Darkside tonight. Before we were even live, Miss C was in the house. Ciao, Grande, and greetings to everybody in the chat. Welcome, Miss C. Hope all is well with you. Sean Blue Digital's in the house. Good evening, Graveyard crew. What's up, Sean Blue? Hope all is well with you, man. Happy Rocktober, everyone. Dude, happy Shocktober, Rocktober, October, however the hell you want to say it. Happy October. It's probably my favorite month. It's this or December for me, but man, I absolutely love this month, and I'm so excited it's here. It's going to be a very fun month of shows. I've got a very fun list of shows for the next 4 weeks, so I'm very much looking forward to that, and a short film. So this is going to be a very fun month on Grande's Graveyard. Hey, hello, Miss C. Ciao, Grande. Hi, entire awesome chat. Mateo is here. Ciao, my friend. I apologize. I am so sorry about your Blue Jays, man. 2 years in a row, they get to the playoffs and let you down. So I know how that is. The Mets fired their GM today, so that's always good news. That's a reason to celebrate and drink till next morning. Aiden Vavra is in the house. Hello, everybody. Hello, Mr. Vavra. Hope all is well with you, my friend. People saying hi to one another. All right, so we got a packed house at Grande's Graveyard tonight. And we're talking about one of my all-time favorite horror shows, anthologies, whatever you want to call it. We are talking about Tales from the Dark Side. I'm rocking the hat here. I'm also rocking the Fright Rags t-shirt with, I think is amazing. Now, they never had that like skull on the shadow with the classic like drawbridge, which actually somebody recently found where that was. That's in Pennsylvania, in like Bumblefuck, Pennsylvania somewhere. And there's a video where you could see the actual drawbridge from, Tales from the Dark Side. And I always wanted to visit that location. It's like a 5-hour drive from me, but I absolutely would do it. It's just such an interesting location. If you can check that YouTube video, totally do. Really cool as he checks out this location. I'm rocking the hat. I am a monster fan of the show. It's funny, like Tales from the Crypt, there's no doubt is the better show. It had better production value. It has a bigger fan base. There's no doubt about it. And they also were airing on HBO. They were one of HBO's original, programming shows where they actually put HBO on the map. I always say HBO is kind of the house that Tales from the Crypt built, whereas Tales from the Dark Side had no money, no budget. Of course, Richard P. Rubenstein was behind a lot of the producing, and Laurel Entertainment, of course, and TJ Castronova and all these guys that would fund these. And of course, it aired on syndicated television. So there was only so far you could push the envelope. And I think that's why a lot of people kind of always strayed away from Tales from the Dark Side. It's cheaper. It's, they can't show as much graphic violence. I totally see why people stay away and went with Crypt over Dark Side. And there's the age-old debate, and it's about 90% to 10% Dark Side. But, 90% to 10% Crypt. But I'm in that 10% that loves Dark Side more. This show was always so sentimental to me. I'll never forget going home from school, elementary school, and watching it on the Chiller Theater channel or Chiller TV channel. And I would just watch these over and over and over again. I just loved the show. And today on the show, we're going to be talking about some of my favorite episodes that I loved growing up and, of course, had a great time revisiting. So I'm very excited for that. Let's see. LOL, love how everyone thinks Craig Counsell is the answer for the Mets. Like he's going to get, oh my God, yeah, no, there's no answer for the Mets. The Mets are in deep shit for a long time. But I will say I'm happy they fired the GM, or he resigned. So, yeah, we got to give him his just desserts. He fucking sucks. You fucking signed, you traded 4 fucking minor leaguers and JD Davis for fucking Darren Ruff. He had 4 RBIs with the team. He fucking stinks. It was the GM's fault and his dumb ass. Fuck him. For crappy baseball teams, yeah, I'll drink to that. Hey, I'll drink to that. For our crappy baseball teams, although your fucking team made the playoffs at least. My fucking team was projected to win over 93.5 games, and they won 75 fucking games, and one of them were handed to them because it was a suspended game. So I'll drink to that, buddy. I'll drink to my shitty general manager finally stepping down, and he can go fuck himself. I actually picked Toronto to win that series. Dude, I don't blame you. I would have thought Toronto would have whooped the Twins. I think they're a better team, but Toronto just 2 years in a row in the playoffs forgot how to win. I don't know what happened. Yesterday was a disaster. I got to see Tales from the Darkside. Oh, dude, man, highly recommend you pick it up. Now, I will say this: these DVDs look like shit. Like, I mean, this show really looks like shit. Like, there is no, like it is all there. And I didn't realize this until I looked into it more. These were shot on film. I did not know Tales from the Darkside were shot on fucking film. I would assume by looking at these DVDs that they were not. Like, they just do not look good on DVD. And I don't even know if you transferred them to Blu-ray if it would ever fucking help. I really don't. And I don't think that will ever happen because I know that, of course, Richard Rubenstein owns part of the rights, and they would have to go in and actually go through the old 35 millimeter film and do a whole restoration for all these episodes. Of course, some of the music has changed from the days that these have aired as opposed to when they were, converted for DVD. So kind of unfortunate there. I mean, there's some different music and very low picture quality. So that's another thing, another knock that could be thrown, Tales from the Darkside's way. But I don't know. I always felt the show had a great charm to it. And I'm very excited to talk all things Darkside tonight. I have the individual season releases for Tales from the Darkside on DVD. Very cool, man. I for some reason, I got that, and I should have just done it individually because I think they're just much better. Like, if you look at the packaging on this, it's so fucking cheap. Like, I don't like how I hate this. Like, what? Like, this is just nonsense. Like, I don't like. I think it's so cheap to pack them that way. Of course, the Odd Couple I have, the complete series of that, Twilight Zone, and they're all like that. I like individual fucking cases. Do like separate releases if you have to. And they did. I just stupidly bought the complete series. The Mets fire a GM so frequently, it's crazy. Oh my God, yeah, if you fucking had a nickel for every time the Mets have fired a GM in my lifetime, you'd be a rich fucking man. LL Grande is right about the DVD video quality. It's fucking bad. It looks quite fucking bad. I'm a sucker for George Romero, low budget film, so I can see myself getting behind Darkside. Well, if you love George Romero, I don't see how you wouldn't love this show. Now, Romero actually wrote one of the episodes we'll be talking about tonight. Of course, you have guys like John Harrison, guys like Michael Gornick, who I actually had the pleasure of meeting this past June. Very, very nice guy. Talked all things Darkside with him, funny enough. We talked The Circus, which is a season 3 episode. In fact, the season 3 premiere. But he also directs the Devil's Advocate episode, which is this episode we'll be talking about tonight on Grande's Graveyard. Warner Shook directed episodes. John Harrison, like I said. I mean, anybody and everybody was involved with Romero at this time. Savini, so many of those guys, were able to write, direct, or participate in this series. And that's why it's always kind of stuck out to me. Like it has that homemade Pittsburgh vibe to it. And that's what I really love from George Romero and why I always was a big fan of him. You do get some more artwork on the individual releases too. Yeah, no, that definitely seems to be the way to go. And I'd never, ever think they're going to do a Blu-ray or anything of it. So I think this is going to be it for a long time. It's amazing how the second season of Tales from the Darkside came out the same year as family-friendly anthology series Amazing Stories did. And I like this way more than Amazing Stories, but we'll get into it. We got 24 episodes to talk about, so let's just dive in here. Everybody, cheers to a safe, happy, healthy weekend and happy Rocktober. Let's take a slug. And we'll get underway with this son of a bitch. Let's take a ghouly gander here as we have season 2, episode 1. This aired September the 26th of 1985. Probably my favorite year in horror's history. So it's always good when you have your season debuting in the great year of 1985. This is The Impressionist. A nightclub impressionist, Spiffy Ramo, is blackmailed into helping the government establish communication with Hofgosh, a seemingly hostile alien who holds the secret to nuclear fusion. Yes, that is a tongue fill. That is a mouthful to say there. But we have the season 1 premiere, The Impressionist. Now, I won't lie, this is one episode that before show prep had eluded me for years. I never saw it air on the Chiller Theater channel, never saw it late night on the Sci-Fi channel. This was an episode that was a first-time watch for me, and I am so fucking glad that I finally saw it because I loved this episode. What a great way to kick off a season of television. Of course, you have, and this lead actor did a great job, Chuck McCann as Spiffy Remo. He is this, nightclub impersonator, and he can do any actor that you ask him to do. He's doing impressions of Laurel and Hardy and Abbott and Costello and Fred Astaire and all these wonderful old school actors on the stage. He's impersonating them and getting, great ovation, great reaction, and he's just loving to live on top in this late night club. So, he goes to the back one night and the promoter is saying, hey, your act's kind of run a little bit stale. I feel like you've been doing the same show night in, night out for the past 10 years. Is there anything new you could bring to the act? You're running a bit stale. And I really enjoy the lead actor's performance in this, as he doesn't know what to do with himself. He's fallen on, the hard times of not knowing how to reinvent yourself. And then, of course, he is given the opportunity of this once in a lifetime chance to impersonate an alien. They come to him and say, hey, you're the best impersonator we know. Would you come in and actually try to communicate with this alien that we've captured? It's called Hafgosh. And Hafgosh is like this blue alien. Its head kind of looks like a ball sack. It's a giant fucking blue ball sack alien head that you have as Hafgosh here. And I guess I could fucking probably try to share the screen here and show you guys a little bit what it looks like here. So hold on, let me share the screen, because this is like too cool to not do. The Hafgosh thing looks fucking really good in my opinion. Like, I actually think it came out quite good. So let me share this screen here. Yes, that is Hafgosh, the alien that of course they asked Mr. Remo to impersonate. Hafgosh, the alien. And I think this is a very interesting episode in of the fact that it's really talking about the horrors of a performer finally becoming stale, or a performer finally, not being happy with their work or their life anymore. And in this alien, he starts to find that new creative juice that he wants. He starts to reinvent himself. And at first he's hesitant. He doesn't want to do it. I don't want to be a part of this. This is wrong. You've captured this creature and, it needs to go back home. What you're doing is wrong. And they threaten him with all these sort of legal things. And, he gives in. He's like, all right, I'll do it. I'll fucking do it. And after a while, he starts to like it. He's, oh my God, I'm so close. I'm so close. It's starting to trust me. It's gaining the trust. And I love how slowly but surely they build this relationship together between man and alien. And I really enjoy that dynamic. I thought that was really, really well done here in this episode. And of course, it was directed by, now let me get the director's name here as I take this image down. It was directed by Armand Mastroianni. That's a fun name to say. Armand Mastroianni. That's a hell of a name to say, but he does a good job directing this episode here. I think he did a very good job at kind of building this world and establishing these two characters, sort of bonding their friendship. I thought it kind of worked here. And of course, by the end of the episode, spoiler alerts, which I'm me, I always like to spoil shit. You have, he reaches contact. He finds a way to, communicate with it. And then he goes back to the nightclub. They're like, okay, we don't need you anymore. Thank you for your work. Thank you. We learned a lot from this thing. We learned all we're going to learn from it. He goes back to the nightclub and he's just not, he's reinvented himself. He's on cloud nine, but now the club, it feels slow to him. It's not the same high or adrenaline or rush that it used to be for him. And he's walking home kind of depressed one night and kind of feeling down. And then all of a sudden the spaceship lands on the ground and it's Hafgosh, like waving him on, like, come on, come with us. We'll give you that, rejuvenation to, relive your life and reinvent yourself again up here. And the two kind of embrace hands and kind of walk up into the light. And I thought, wow, like what a great episode of TV. Like what a really interesting dynamic. Talk about the horrors of feeling stale and the horrors of not being able to reinvent yourself. And through this offhand chance, this extraterrestrial chance, this guy was able to find a part of him that, impersonates this alien and then moves on to their world. I thought that was such an interesting way to kick off this season. And I really, really, really enjoy The Impressionist. For me, it's going to come in a solid A to kick off this season. I really, really, really enjoy this episode. I think it's directed really well. I think Chuck McCann does a great job in the lead. I really enjoy this episode. I think this is a damn good one. They picked a good one to kick off with. So let's get back into comments, though. Let's take a ghouly gander. Of course, I would go crazy if they upgraded Tales from the Darkside and Tales from the Crypt on Blu-ray. Tales from the Crypt, they have to. I mean, it's a disgrace that they haven't. I know it's legal issues. And same thing with Darkside. It's all rights issues because Richard P. Rubenstein's a piece of shit. Like, that's why Dawn of the Dead doesn't have a 4K release region A. That's why Martin doesn't have a 4K release region A. That's why Darkside will never, ever, ever get a Blu-ray release and with the proper music and all that. It just never will happen. And maybe after he dies, but it will never happen while he's alive. So sucks. Michael Gornick's cinematography work with George Romero was truly awesome. I know he made Creepshow 2, which is one of my comfort movies. Dude, I talked to him about Creepshow 2. He's just such a nice guy. Mike Gornick was so cool to meet. And, like, it's funny. We talk more about this show than anything else, and he didn't do that many. Like, he did The Circus. He did The Devil's Advocate, which, like I said, we're going to discuss fairly shortly. So I'm very excited about that. And I don't know. I really enjoy Mike Gornick's work. I think he did a great job. Yeah, no, I would go crazy for it, too. They would definitely make good money from upgrading. They would. I don't understand. I don't know what they're waiting for. That description. Yeah, it does. It looks like a fucking like ball sack head. Hofgosh looks like something out of the classic Twilight Zone episode To Serve Man. Yes, definitely. The Catamits, of course, had that giant cranium, whereas this, it was like two bumps. It looks like a fucking blue ball sack on this motherfucker's head, but I thought it worked. I actually really, really quite like this episode. I like the Impressionist. So a good way to kick off season 2 of The Darkside. And up next, though, we run into the first misstep of the season with season 2, episode 2. This aired October the 6th of 1985, almost the anniversary. Tomorrow, this one will celebrate another anniversary for it. This is Life Bomb. A CEO working himself to death receives an offer of a special service designed to keep him alive. Yes, the Life Bomb. Oh boy, I really didn't like this. The concept is quite good, though. Like, I really think you had a good concept here with just poor execution. That's kind of how I look at this one. Of course, this one tells the story of this man who is kind of not elderly, but he's in poor health. Like, he's at high risk for a heart attack. His wife and he always fight. And, he's running this big company. He's like this late 60s guy that, is a stressful day away from a heart attack and passing away. And this man comes to him with this offer and he says, hey, if you get the Life Bomb, we can make sure that you'll never die. Like, if you have a heart attack, we'll put this on you and it'll save your life. It's like not exactly a life alert, but it's like one of those where if you hit the button, it'll put you in this like cocoon where you'll breathe in the most durable air and your heart and organs and everything can reset. And if you have a fatal heart attack, it'll bring you back from the dead and you can live forever. Like, it's this kind of life insurance, contingency plan that will save your life if you buy it. And he's like, oh, there's got to be a catch. There's got to be a catch. And he's like, there is no catch. Your insurance will pay for it. He's like, I definitely think you are a prime candidate for it. And he's like, well, show me what you mean. The guy actually tries to kill himself. Like, he sets off a fucking pipe bomb in his chest. And then the light bomb goes off and it saves him. And he kind of pops out of the cocoon, which is what you see in this picture down here. This guy in this cocoon, like, oh, you see, it worked for me. I'm all safe. I'm all okay and secure now. So I thought that was kind of funny. I was like, okay, this is very, very, interesting little concept. Where are we going to go with this? And the answer, unfortunately, is nowhere too good. I don't like the way this episode plays out. You have this guy has a heart attack because he's arguing with his wife and the life bomb saves him. And it basically keeps like would be dying. And then by the end of it, he's like, oh shit, I can never die. And that's it. That's really it. Like, it's like he has to live in an eternity of where he can't die. I don't know, lame. It doesn't work at all. It really doesn't. It is a very good concept. I think if you gave this concept to someone who was a little bit more creative, I think you could have really had something here. But honestly, and to air this in October with the great episodes you had in this season makes no sense to me. Like, I think this is a really weird one that they aired it here. And this show was definitely always conscious of where they aired things. Like, the Halloween Candy episode, which we're going to be discussing very shortly, that aired like the week of Halloween. Like, it makes it like somebody in the fucking, scheduling room was like, okay, that one makes sense to air there. And, certain episodes like The Last Car was like the mid-season finale for a while because there was nothing that could follow it. Now, and we'll get there, like I'm saying, but I don't know. I definitely think this was a weirdly misplaced one. I would have put this more at the end of the season when you got to the summer, when you got to July of 1986. I definitely think that would have been the better way to go with this. But I don't know. For now, the Life Bomb, it's come in like a C minus. It definitely avoids being a D just because I like the concept, but about everything else in I just don't really care for it. Light Bomb is definitely a misstep. I think Tales from the Dark Side is still owned by Warner Brothers. I from what I understand, and now I didn't do too much research on this, but I'm pretty sure that Richard still owns part of this. And that's why, and they do still have the film. Like they have the 35 millimeter film, or I don't know if this was 35, but I know it was shot on film. It was shot on film, and I know they all have that, those canisters somewhere, but someone would literally have to go through them and fucking, put those to 1080p high def. And I don't think that's ever going to happen. And if it is owned by Warner Brothers, it's not, because they don't give a fuck. Like they had that bare bones edition of Creepshow out for years. That Warner Brothers do not give a fucking shit. It'll absolutely. I would be fucking astonished if they ever released the show on Blu-ray. And if they did, I'd be so curious to how it looks, because it looks like dog shit on this phone. Like it really looks bad. It's like you're watching it and it was shot with a potato. Like it just looks like shit. It really does. It's a shame because it's such a fucking good show in my opinion. But of course, let's move on into the next episode here. Of course, season 2, episode number 3 that aired October the 13th. This one will celebrate its anniversary next Friday the 13th. That's really cool. That's just 8 days from tomorrow. And of course, we'll share a release date with my short movies. That's very cool. This is Ring Around the Redhead. Death row inmate Billy Malone tells a journalist of how he survived an earthquake and found a portal to another dimension. Out of that portal popped young Keena, whose ensuing relationship with Billy seals his fate. Yes, Ring Around the Redhead. Now, this one stars an actor that I fucking really miss. And, rewatching this episode made me miss him even more. And of course, that actor is John Hurd. Now, I know most people remember John Hurd from, of course, Home Alone. He's the dad from Home Alone. Mr. McAllister, the credit card. We all remember John Hurd from those movies. I always remember him from Big. He's the, asshole businessman in Big. He's in movies like, he did some horror. He was in Would You Rather in a very small, brief cameo. I always really liked John Hurd. I think John Hurd was an underrated actor, and it's so cool to see him get the lead in a Darkside episode, playing a very likable lead here in Billy Malone. As the episode opens up, we're in this jail cell, and he is on death row. They're getting ready to send him to the electric chair, and of course, he's telling the story as to how he got there. Very similar to the series premiere of Tales from the Crypt, where the executioner, and then by the end he's executed. This is kind of telling the how did we get to this point, and then we're going to get to the ultimate ending of him being in the electric chair. And I like this. I thought this was such a well done love story. Of course, John Hurd is this sort of scientist in a way. He's this rocket scientist. And one night there's this crazy earthquake, and out pops this woman in a ring. And it's Penelope Ann Miller, who people might remember from The Relic. People might remember from Kindergarten Cop. Love Penelope Ann Miller. Just had a great screen presence, a really great likability factor. And she's no different here. So likable, pretty, gentle, just really like Penelope Ann Miller. I really like her in this episode as she comes out as this, redheaded alien that John Hurd slowly but surely starts to, interact with and teach English and show her all this cultures and things like that. And they slowly but surely start to fall in love. This is a love story episode of Tales from the Dark Side. And I think it's quite well done. And I really think you have to give most of the credit to John Hurd and Penelope Ann Miller. Now, it is written and directed by Theodore Gershony. And the reason I mention him is because he also wrote one of probably my favorite episode of season 1, The Odds, with, of course, Danny Aiello and Tom Noonan. That's, to me, of season 1, that's the best episode, is The Odds. I absolutely think that's a masterpiece of an episode. I really do. That's a great one. And this one is really good too. And of course, he would go on to do another one this season, which we'll get to down the road. But I love this love story. I think the two of them have wonderful chemistry with one another, as, he's teaching her English and he's teaching her how to write her name. And there's songs that they, teach each other as he's trying to get her to sleep because she's having a hard time sleeping. And, he sings the That rockabye baby on the treetop. You know, he sings that song to her as she goes to bed. It's just a very sweet love story between the two. And man, I was watching this, I just got really sad. I was like, I miss John Hurd. Like, John Hurd was such a really good character actor that just doesn't get enough love, man. And it was cool to see him in this episode. And of course, you know, things turn awire where John Hurd's, partner and friend in the rocket science business, you know, he kind of turns on him and tries to use her and her culture, you know, for financial benefit. And of course, you know, he ends up dying because of his horrible deeds. And then, of course, John Hurd's blamed for the murder because nobody believes him and his story of the alien woman that came out of the ring and, you know, into his life and into his lap and into his heart in a lot of ways. And, you know, spoiler alert here, as he goes to the electric chair at the end, he's very sad and upset. And she appears and says, I'll take you away. I could take you away to my world. You know, like all I have to know is that you love me. And he's like, of course. And she takes him away. They flip the switch and he's gone. And then the reporter that he told all this to is like, I got a hell of a love story. So I don't know, a sweet one. Definitely not a dark Tales from the Darkside episode, a very much more love story, romantic tale between man and alien, between, you know, Penelope Ann Miller and of course John Hurd respectively. I think they're just great. I think these two steal this episode. I really like how Theodore Gershony writes characters. I love Aiello and Noonan in the season 1 episode The Odds, and I really enjoy Penelope Ann Miller and John Hurd here. The guy definitely lucked out with great actors. In all the episodes he did, he got really good actors, and this episode's no exception. So for me, Ring Around the Head, Redhead is going to be an A. I really enjoy this episode. I think it's a damn good one. It has a lot of heart, a lot more heart than most Darkside episodes end up having. But overall, I think it's a damn good episode, man. So definitely recommend that one. Let's see. The fact that Martin and Dawn that it hasn't been released on Blu-ray and 4K is such a shame. I know Dawn got the bare bones blue, and I have that. That's the only Region A Blu-ray of Dawn of the Dead. I have it signed by Romero. It was released like right in the infancy of when Anchor Bay was doing Blu-rays. So that's like a prized possession of mine just because Romero signed it and it's my favorite movie. But like I called bullshit on the fucking, like, listen, Second Sight Films is putting out some of the best horror editions we've seen. They put out May. They put out Martin. They put out It Follows. They put out Dawn of the Dead. Those are 4 of the fucking greatest horror movies ever. And they gave 4K special edition treatments to them. And if you have a region free player, you should support that shit. Second Sight is on another level right now. To me, they're number 2 next to Arrow. It's Arrow and Second Sight. They are fucking kicking ass, taking names, and not looking back. But I am just fucking stubborn about getting a region free player because I know if I do, the amount I will spend on Blu-rays and 4Ks will double from what I'm doing now. And I feel like it's out of hand now. So I hit the brakes on that. I know 4Ks are generally region free, which is awesome. However, if I'm getting a special edition, I want to watch the features. You damn right. If you're releasing a 4-disc edition of Dawn of the Dead in 4K, I want to see the features. I want to see the new interview with Richard France. I want to see all these people that you got, and the Blu-ray disc is locked. And I am just living in a bygone era, I guess. I know a lot of people have made fun of me and been like, what are you, fucking hippie? Are you hipster? Are you trying to fucking prove a point? I'm not. I just know that if I got a region free player, you would never see me again. Like I just know myself. So that is the big reason why. John Hurd was in Cat People too. Of course, the Cat People's great. I really like the actor. I just really, really, really like John Hurd. Hello, buddy. By the way, got 950. Dude, 50 more and you got 1,000, man. You're going to get there. Love Tales from the Dark Side. The LBS logo scared the shit out of me. Dude, yeah, no, it's a great logo. It really is. Paramount owns it. Really? Is that fucking so? You're right. Paramount fucking put out the DVD. You were right. Wow, good call, man. Very good call. Yeah, no, I wasn't sure. I always heard that they have the films, like the film canisters of these episodes, but it's fucking Richard P. Rubenstein that is blocking them from re-releasing it. And also the fucking music was all changed. Like it's a nightmare. Like they will never, ever. There's nobody that likes this show enough that is in the position of power to do something about it would ever like if I was in charge, we would be fucking working day and night to do it just because out of curiosity, I'd love to see what these would look like on Blu-ray, but that'll never happen. So don't hold your breath. I am not getting a region free Blu-ray player for the. Yeah, it's just I don't know. Like listen, the Blood and Black Lace 4K. I'm so stoked it was 1 disc. I'm so stoked because I could watch it on my 4K player. That's sick. I'm not interested in it. Like, I just think it's a fucking scam. I really do. Like, and if I got it, I would have had all those editions. I'd have another player. I don't need all that. I don't need all that. It's just fucking dumb. Like, just fucking figure out the rights, Richard P. Rubenstein, you piece of shit, but he never will. He's a greedy bastard. But let's move on. Speaking of greedy bastards, the next episode here is season 2, episode 4, which aired October the 20th. So the next few Fridays, these are going to all celebrate their anniversaries, which is kind of fun. This is Parlor Floor Front. After Linda, a landlady, speaks to her tenant, Mars Gillis, who she wants to move out of the Parlor Floor Front apartment. Bad things start happening all over the apartment she and her husband live in and suspect it's Mars's voodoo. Yes, the Parlor Floor Front. So, this is an episode that I don't think would fly today. This is very, very politically incorrect episode. So I warn you, if you're one of those people that, don't like political incorrectness, don't watch this episode because there's a lot of shit in it that I actually can't believe. Like, watching it in today's day, I'm like, wow, they would fucking freak out if anybody tried to make this nowadays. It basically tells the story of this, white couple that are landlords in this building, and their parlor floor front apartment is the nicest apartment in their building. And of course, it's owned by this, or it's rented out, I should say, by this, foreign, I guess he's Chinese, Japanese, I'm not sure which. I think he's Chinese. This Chinese man who they suspect of practicing voodoo when night falls. And he has this other woman in the, the apartment, this black woman that he's, very close and friendly with. And they spend some time together. And the wife is just this outward racist. I mean, horrible racist lady who says all these horrible things about the woman and the man and their race. And I won't repeat what she says, but it's definitely eye-opening in today's day and age. It's definitely something that you would never be able to say on TV now. Like, I was watching, I was like, damn, like, fucking, where's Ron Simmons at? Damn, all I was missing was the fucking shirt. I was just like, wow, this would never fly today. And this is a dark side. Like, this is like, it definitely earns the Darkside name in this one because these first 3 definitely, nothing too dark about them. But here we definitely get one that's earning the name of Tales from the Darkside, as this woman, doesn't like the tenant, and she's, being a dick to him and all these things, saying these racist things to her. And he goes, I'm going to put a spell on her. I'm going to put a curse on her, that all these bad things will happen to her. And they do. Things start badly happening to her. She, stubs her foot. She falls off a ladder while she's painting. She's falling on bad luck. She loses things. All of these bad things start happening to this awful, landlord who's this racist bitch. Then, she goes and confronts him about it. She's like, I know I'm horrible to you, and I know that, you don't deserve it, but God damn it, I didn't deserve this either. And she goes in this whole tirade as to how she fucking had to have a fucking miscarry when she fell off the ladder, and she blames him for it. She's like, I lost my baby because of you and your curse, and just berates this guy. And you're just like, whoa, what? Like, that came out of nowhere. And this guy believes it, and he starts to feel guilt. He's like, Jesus, like, I wanted you to have, the curse, and I wanted you to have some bad luck, but I never would have intended for you to have a miscarriage of a baby. And he starts to break down in his parlor floor front apartment and cries, and ultimately fucking hangs himself. And they show it. I don't know how they got away with showing a man hang himself on syndicated television, but they show it here. There's a lot in this season that goes off screen. This one did not. This one went for it and showed it. And I was fucking astonished that they did. I was like, damn, like, I am shocked they showed a man hanging himself fucking right in his living room on syndicated television. I mean, that is wild, but they do show it here. And of course, after this happens, the woman is exposed for being even worse than what we thought that she was. And she is revealed that she was lying about it, that she made up the story about, falling off the ladder and having a miscarriage and all these things to try to make him feel bad. And ultimately, he goes too far for what she wanted. And of course, he kills himself. And then she starts to feel guilt and is haunted by the memory of this guy. And man, I thought this was fucking Darkside 101. Like, you reap what you fucking sow, bitch. And if you're a racist, awful piece of shit and you lie about something like having a miscarriage, you will fucking get what's coming to you. And man, it does happen in this episode. And I think it's fantastically scary. I like how it's directed. It's very creepy, very atmospheric, very unsettling, as of course this man kind of haunts her from beyond the grave and attacks her from beyond the grave. And you know what? To a nicer woman, it couldn't happen. This lady totally had it coming. And I really quite like this episode. I think Parlor Forefront is a damn good Darkside. And it's going to be, out of the 4 episodes, the third of 4 A-tier episodes here. So we've got a very solid start here for Tales from the Darkside season number 2. 3 out of 4 A's is quite good. That's almost as good as you can get. Tales from the Darkside meets the nation of we are the nation of domination. If I get to be sexual chocolate, okay. The plot of the episode kind of reminds me of a Beyond Belief episode called The Greedy Investors, where this woman kicks out an elderly woman. Yeah, no, it's definitely something that you've seen, done slightly like this, but not quite like this. Like I thought you brought race, you brought religion, you brought gender, you brought all of these things into this that I was like, wow, like this was pretty fucking ambitious. I gotta say, like, I think, and in a good way, I think it's definitely not for everyone, but I think if you're going for dark tones and feelings and emotions, you nail them here. They are. And I know that might be a lot for some people to handle. And if that's the case, don't watch it. I don't recommend it if you're not, able to take things like that. But I think it's a damn good episode. I think it spells dark side and dark side. Like it really is effectively dark. So another one that I quite like, Parlor Forefront, man, coming in, at an A tier. So as we move on, though, into the next episode, we have an all-time series classic. So brace yourselves, because this is one of the best dark sides that there ever was. And this is, of course, season 2, episode 5. This is Halloween Candy. Yes, Halloween Candy, which aired October the 27th of 1985. See what they did with the scheduling. This one had to air at this time, of course, 4 days before Halloween in 1985. Nasty old Mr. Killip uses Halloween to taunt kids. This year, he's in for a surprise from which even his long-suffering son, Michael, cannot save him. Yes, Halloween Candy. Now, this is one of the most famous dark sides. There's no doubt about it. Like, if you mention this show to people, like I remember when I used to work at my old company, I would wear this hat a lot on a Friday. It's just one of my go-to Friday night or Friday day hats, I guess. And people will go, oh my God, Darkside, and at first sometimes they confuse it with Crypt. They'd be like, oh, is that the one where, the show where, the little guy does the introductions? I was like, no. This is the man lives in the sunlit world of what he believes to be reality. But there is, unseen by most, an underworld, a place that is just as real, but not as brightly lit. A dark side. The greatest intro in television's history, in my fucking humble opinion. It was scary, it was spooky, it was catchy, and it kicked fucking ass. Rest in pepperonis, Paul Sparrow. But, once you explain the difference between Darkside and Crypt to them, one of the episodes they always mention would either be Inside the Closet or Halloween Candy, which is like one of the most infamous ones. And of course, when you think infamous Darkside episodes, one guy comes to mind, that's Tom Savini. He directed 3 S-level tier episodes of Tales from the Darkside. Of course, the family reunion episode, and of course, Inside the Closet. Both Inside the Closet and Halloween Candy, the 2 most remembered episodes, were both directed by Tom Savini. So, that goes to show you. And not to be overshadowed here by Savini was the writer Michael McDowell, who I have done some research on in my show prep for this week. And man, what a fascinating guy, and what a great mind for the horror genre that Michael McDowell had. And another guy that it's so sad that is no longer with us. Of course, Michael McDowell wrote some of the best dark sides out there. We will get to my favorite one tonight. He did right, and we'll get there towards the end of the show. But he wrote some of the best episodes of this show. And not only this, but he also wrote stuff for Beetlejuice. He wrote the screenplay of Beetlejuice. He wrote some episodes for Monsters. He was just a really great horror mind, in my humble opinion. He was taken from us far too soon. Of course, he died of AIDS. He was a gay man who contracted HIV and unfortunately passed away at a really young age from AIDS. But man, this guy's talent was just something else. And I think his mind for the genre was something that is just super underrated and under talked about. And I wanted to shine some light on Michael McDowell and how smart he was as a writer. And you could tell his passion for the genre when you watch his work. It really is something else. I think Michael McDowell is the best writer that Tales from the Darkside ever had. He wrote, I believe, 11 episodes, and they're fucking all bangers. And this one is one of the most remembered ones. When you team him and Savini up, you know you're going to get great results. And basically, the story is this old man who's almost like the Ebenezer Scrooge, but of not of Christmas, but of Halloween. And he doesn't want to give Halloween candy out to the kids. They should all die of sugar overload. And I hate kids, and I miss my wife, and I'm in a neck brace, and all these things. He's the Ebenezer Scrooge of All Hallows Eve, if you will. And of course, his son comes over and says, Dad, you better just walk to the door and give out the candy. You don't want these kids to play any tricks on you. Promise me tonight that you'll do this. I'll be back tomorrow night to check on you. And that's what we want to do. And of course, you know, he leaves the old man, and the old man is being a dick to all these kids. And I don't have any candy. And if I did, I wouldn't give it to you. I mean, he's just a real nasty guy. And of course, at a point, he starts to take it too far. He takes, oh, you want candy? You want candy so bad? You're going to spray paint my front door? You know what I'm going to do? He takes like honey and goo and broken eggs and all of this disgustingness and pours it into one of the kids' trick-or-treat bags. And the kids, oh, you just ruined my whole bag. Now it's all sticky. He's like, yeah, that'll teach you. Like, get off my property, you little snot-nosed brat. And this guy is just bad news, just a mean bastard. And of course, he is visited by not the ghost of Christmas past, but the ghost of Halloween night in this little mini demon thing that absolutely is Tom Savini at his finest. This creature design is so damn creepy. And I love the way Savini sells the horror in this episode and really butters up this victim and really makes him reap what he's sown as well. Of course, there's scenes where, you know, he's looking at the door, he sees the front door is open, and we'll see the creature outside kind of waving to him on the porch. He'll turn, it's not there, and he'll turn back, and the creature's right in front of him. And it's just very effectively scary. And there's also this great gross out horror where, you know, he starts to drop things in the house, and these bugs and cockroaches crawl out of them, circa creep show, and they're creeping up on you. Very similar to that segment in that way, how they use the creep out, you know, gross out factor. And I thought that stuff really, really worked here. It's so well written too. Like, what a great idea from McDowell. You know, because, okay, we all know the Ebenezer Scrooge story. How many Christmas carols, how many fucking adaptations of that same story have we seen? But we hadn't quite seen it done with a Halloween tale. And I thought, what a great idea to do the Ebenezer Scrooge of Halloween night, and he gets attacked by this fucking Halloween demon that butters him up for not giving the kids candy like he told his son he would. I love the idea. I think it's a wonderful idea. And of course, Savini executes it to perfection. You have the creep element, you have the great special makeup effects that Savini was known for, and it's a great original creature design. Probably the best looking creature that you'll see in this season. It's a lot better than the Hofgosh, you know, even though I think it does look good, Hofgosh. It's just this looked way better. Like, it's very effectively, you know, looking. And I don't know. I think Savini does a great job behind the camera. It's a very ambitious project for him, and he would go on to do more Darksides, and of course, ultimately, the Night of the Living Dead 1990 remake, which I always loved as well. And I think Tom Savini is a very underrated director. I wish he had directed more in his career, because I do see talent there. I do see style. I do see a flair, you know, despite what people want to say and say, oh, he was just a special effects guy. I think he could direct with the best of them, man. He really could. I really enjoy how he directs stuff. And again, McDowell with the great idea. And, you know, you have two great horror minds coming together and executing, man. You get an S tier episode of Tales from the Darkside. Halloween Candy is going to be our first S tier episode of season 2 here, because I think it is just an absolute masterpiece. So yeah, 5 episodes in, we got some fucking quality here, man. We have some absolute quality, and it's very exciting to talk about. So let's see. Slasher Fred says exactly. Grande, absolutely. It's the Ebenezer Scrooge. There was also Beyond Belief story where Halloween, where this grouchy old man is terrorized on Halloween by Grim Reaper. I've not seen that. Would you recommend? I would definitely like to check that out. Sounds interesting. Region Free is the best thing I ever did as a collector, and I find so many Region people, oh my God, dude, yeah, no. It's definitely, oh my God, forget it. But Region Codes is I agree. That's my issue. It's just, I don't like region locking. I think it's just so stupid. Halloween Candy is certainly a favorite. Dude, yeah, and that's, oh my God, there's a giant bug here. Holy shit. Hold on. I got to kill this motherfucker. Here. Holy shit. That is the biggest fucking bug I've ever seen. Oh my God. Dude, I started talking about fucking Halloween candy and the bugs coming out, and this all of a sudden this giant fucking bug. Dude, you would not believe the size of this motherfucker. Holy shit. That scared the shit out of me. I'm like, what the fuck? Am I seeing shit? I saw shit start moving on the floor. I'm like, Halloween candy is coming out to... I didn't give the kids their candy. God damn it. They're coming out to get me. The Halloween gremlin, the Halloween demon, if you will. That was fucking terrifying. Holy shit. I think I lost a little bit of pee, to be perfectly honest with you. Oh, they're creepy up on you, Grande. Dude, I'm fucking telling you, it's like EA big. Like, holy fucking balls. That scared the shit out of me. Yeah, dude, and this episode too, like, there's scenes where he drops the eggs and the bugs crawl out. So Savini used that gag here too, and holy shit, that I'm telling you, man, if you saw this fucking bug, you'd be like, dude, what the fuck? Like, I guess I could show you guys here. Fuck it, let's fucking, I'll show you for real. Hold on. There he is, dead on the floor. That fucking bug, man. What the fuck? That scared the fucking balls off of me, man. I don't know. I was like, what the fuck? I don't know. I just didn't see it coming. LOL. Dude, yeah, he fucking did it. I was like, what the hell? I'm fucking trying to peacefully talk about Tales from the Darkside, and all of a sudden this bug fucking attacked me. It's like, you motherfucker. Grande is in a creep show segment. Yeah, Grande's Graveyard meets the creep show. Why not, man? This is Halloween Candy, the sequel. I'm the young Ebenezer Scrooge of Halloween, I guess. I don't know. That was fucking scary as fuck, though. So sorry about that. I kind of got fucking startled. So all right, let's move on. Let's move on to our next episode here as we moved into November of 1985. And we get, of course, I know Aiden was saying how he likes the Romero alumni. Well, if you like a Romero alumni, you might like this episode here. This is season 2, episode number 6. This is the Satanic Piano. Struggling composer Pete Bancroft is contacted by strange Wilson Barber, who has invented a synthesizer that can read minds and may be able to help Bancroft in his career. Yes, and the guy I'm referring to, Aiden, is none other than Mr. John Harrison. John Harrison steps into the director's chair here, and of course, he did the score for Creepshow. He does the score for Day of the Dead, and some of that score in Day of the Dead wasn't used. And of course, John Harrison being the awesome composer that he is, and I don't think John Harrison gets enough credit. I really don't. Like, John Harrison, number one, I think he's directed some great episodes of TV. I always liked the Tales from the Darkside, the movie, which he would go on to direct. I always liked the Books of Blood, Clive Barker movie that he would go on to direct. Now, that one's not great, but definitely well done job. He does the Halloween episode of the new Creepshow series. John Harrison is great. I think John Harrison is just a fantastic guy, and I really enjoy his work. And this episode, he steps in to write and direct and do the music for, and it's all unused stuff from Day of the Dead. And you can hear Whole New World. It's literally fragments of that spaced throughout the episode, and it's incredible. I mean, you don't hear Whole New World or the tropical, but it's very similar. Like, if you watch the episode, you're like, oh my God, this is totally like what he started on, or what like he wasn't allowed to use in Day of the Dead. And it's incredible music as you have this family. Of course, the lead actor here, played by Michael Warren, and he is this like kind of down in his luck musician. But he likes to play the piano, and his daughter asks him every now and again to help her with songs and stuff like that. He's kind of down in his luck, and he meets this guy that has this magical synthesizer that can play anything that he thinks and make any of the things that he wants to come to life and make into musical gold become musical gold. And of course, it comes at a price because it's a satanic piano, and this guy might just be working for an evil, darker force. Now, it's not a great episode. It's not an episode that I love or adore, but there are things about it that I do like. And the main thing is John Harrison and the music in it. I think that stuff is fantastic. I do like the lead actor. I do think he does a good job. The episode, though, it's a little bit all over the place. Like, it starts off, is it going to be sentimental? Is this going to be this big comeback story for this guy? But there's going to be this big twist. And like the whole finale, I thought was just weird. Like, he kidnaps his daughter, and then like he goes in to save it, and the synthesizer, he's trying to possess her with the synthesizer, and he ends up punching the synthesizer and breaking it, and like it breaks up the spell and the trance and the music and all that. And it's just kind of like, what the fuck? Like a very odd ending to an otherwise good episode. But Satanic Piano, it's better than Life Bomb. It's definitely going to be like our first B minus. I think it's definitely a passable episode of Darkside. I like John Harrison's direction, but he would go on to do much better Darkside episodes. He would go on to direct much better episodes of TV in general. This one, though, I definitely think it's worth a watch if you're a Day of the Dead guy, because you're going to hear some music that you will fall in love with, man. Really good stuff. Alpha is here. There you go. They're creeping up on you, Grande. They were. That is a giant. I don't even know what bug that is. That is a scary motherfucking bug. Hello, what's up, Alpha? Grande just listening, trying to do stuff around the house anyway. You need to be vanilla chocolate and tag with sexual chocolate. Oh my God, imagine caramel chocolate. That would be the best tag team of all time. The musical, oh, dude. The score of a creep show in general is like, to me, the most underrated score of all time. It's a great stuff. I mean, great stuff. It really, really is fantastic stuff. So I always love that score. And John Harrison is just one of my faves. Love him, man. He's a really, really great guy and great talent. So that is, of course, season 2, episode number 6. As we move on here into season 2, episode number 7. And now, if you're a Romero fan, and Alpha, I don't know if you're still here, but man, this is a must-see for any George Romero fan, because George Romero would write this one, of course, and it was directed by none other than Mr. Michael Gornick, who, like I was saying at the outro, I actually met this past June, and he was super, super nice, and we talked all things Darkside, funny enough, and this episode did come up in conversation, of course, and I'm talking about season 2, episode number 7, which aired November the 10th of 1985. This is Jerry Stiller as the devil's advocate. A hate-filled host of a radio call-in show discovers where his anger and cynicism leads. Yes, directed by Gornick, written by Romero. Wow. And then Jerry Stiller is the lead actor who plays the Mandrake, who is this like angry, mean, late-night talk show host who's just this spiteful, hateful guy who buries everyone that calls in. Oh, I'm calling in from New Mexico. Why do they have a New Mexico? The old one's a piece of shit. And oh, my husband was laid off. He was a steam fitter for 24 years. I wouldn't be a steam fitter for 24 minutes. Go out and celebrate, why don't you? Go out and have one on me. Go out for, and have one on the people that pay for the welfare system. This is classic George Romero. Classic. I mean, it's such a fucking good script. And the way that Jerry Stiller performs it is just some of the best shit I've ever seen. Like, I love Jerry Stiller in this. Like, you'll have people calling in. You have David Early, who's another big time Pittsburgh, theater actor who was in Dawn of the Dead. And I, for one, don't blame them. And I always love David Early. And, hey, Mr. Pratt. Hey, Mr. Pratt, that's the same guy, of course, from Creep Show. And I love David Early. You hear his voice in this, and he's talking with Jerry Stiller throughout a lot of the episode. And I'm a watchman. That's what I do for a living. Well, what is the world coming to? Nothing but losers. You people make me sick. You have every advantage today. Electronic, digital, hot and cold, running lives with modern science at your fingertips. And you watch? That's what you do for a living? You watch for $4 an hour? Losers, all of you out there. I just love Jerry Stiller's intensity in delivering the Romero dialogue. It almost makes me wish Jerry Stiller would have been in a Romero film in any way, shape, or form, because he fucking was on his A game. And it's another guy I miss. I miss Jerry Stiller, man. Rest in peace to Jerry Stiller, but rest in peace to a John Hurd. There's too many episodes I watched this past week where I'm like, damn, these guys are all gone. Like, it's so fucking sad to me, because Jerry really brought it. I mean, it's some of the best Romero dialogue you've ever heard, and delivered by a great actor in Jerry Stiller. I mean, he's just great. And I love, there's a great monologue towards the end of the episode where he's talking with these people, and he says, aren't you losing faith, sir? All that watching you're doing, watching the people parade go by while your loved ones have their lungs scalded by spilled chemical gases, while politicians use your sweat to buy limousines, while surgeons slice open unnecessary and remove your perfect organs, while your brothers are sliced down in the streets by cocaine dealers with mansions in Mexico. Aren't you losing faith? And after the world kicks you in the teeth all day long, you tune in at night so you can get kicked in some more by me. I mean, Jerry Stiller should have won an Emmy for this. I fucking love Jerry Stiller in this. He delivers some of the best Romero dialogue I've ever fucking heard. It's unbelievable. And Romero does do a 5-minute interview on this DVD set talking about the episode and like where he was in his life at the time and what he was thinking of society. And he just really kind of vented it out with this episode. And he said that he didn't write it in mind for Jerry Stiller, but when he heard that Jerry Stiller was going to be the lead, he was like, I cannot wait for that to fucking air. And he, of course, he asked Mike Gornick if he would do it. Mike Gornick, there's not much for Mike Gornick to do in this episode. Like, it is all confined in a radio station where he does do some interesting shots, but there's really, I mean, it's very confined for Mike Gornick. Like, the circus is definitely more of an episode where Mike Gornick was able to, you know, move the camera and use the camera the way he wanted to do. I definitely think that was the, you know, better episode for Gornick and his direction, but this is all Romero. Like, I love a lot of the episodes Romero wrote, the Trick or Treat episode, the Baker's Dozen episode. This is my favorite, though, because it is so him. It's Romero 101. It's just everything that he has to say about society and venting it out through this lead character who slowly but surely in front of us is turning into this demon devil creature. And we learn these twists and tales along the way that he died at the beginning of the episode and he is now in hell. And for, you know, his version of hell is being the actual devil's advocate for the rest of eternity and taking all of these calls and, you know, reaping what he's sown. So I think this is a great episode. I really love it from top to bottom. Like I said, Jerry Stiller probably gives the best performance in any Tales from the Darkside episode in season 2 here. I just think he's wonderful and brought such a great energy. And of course, to have Romero and Gornick working together here, just incredible. I love The Devil's Advocate. It's going to be our second S tier episode of this you know, tier list because Jerry Stiller, Romero, Gornick, you just can't beat that. You just really, really can't beat that. It's like a dream come true, man. John Harrison's score for effects is just as good to me. He's an incredible composer. He really is. I wish he directed more and did more music. I really do. I just think the guy was so damn talented. The score is something to tie you over. Oh my God, it is so good. Like when Leslie Nielsen is pouring the drink and they're doing the bam, 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 and you see if you can hold your breath, Harry. I mean, that music is fucking great, man. I just adore that music. Hell yeah, Aiden. That piece of music combined with George's editing is one of my favorite scenes in any Romero film. Yes, no, I think it's fantastic. That was always that and Jordy Vero were always my favorite creep show segments. I love those two. The King is here. This guy. Speaking of Romero, King Gore just reviewed Martin today. He kicked ass and took names. A wonderful review, man. Corey is killing it this October with his 31 days of Halloween mini reviews. He has an awesome lineup, awesome list, and so far today was his best episode of the bunch as he reviewed Romero's Martin, which is a perfect fucking movie. Loved the review, Corey. Awesome to have you in the house with us. I love Jerry Stiller in the original Hairspray, and he also had a cameo in the musical remake. You know, I know a lot of people my age watched The King of Queens with him, but I actually always remember this. Like, this was my first introduction to Jerry Stiller, and I was like, dude, holy fucking shit, this is amazing. Like, I was like blown away by his acting in this. I was like, this is fucking so he's so good and quick with the dialogue that you actually need to watch it a couple times so it lands. Like, it's so fucking good. And me saying it doesn't give it as much justice as Jerry Stiller. Dude, yeah, you will love this show. Like, you will fucking, I would be willing to bet a dumb amount of money that you will love this show. Like, I really, really believe that. Appreciate you. Happy to make it to the show. Dude, appreciate you, man. Thank you. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight, man. So, that is, of course, season 2, episode number 7, The Devil's Advocate, which I think is one of the best. It's in the conversation for best episode of the season, no doubt about it. As we move on here to season 2, episode 8, which aired November the 17th of 1985, this is Distant Signals. Mr. Smith is a co-follower of the failed 1960s TV show Max Paradise and approaches Hollywood studio executives about recreating it, despite the reluctance of its now alcoholic leading man, Van Conway. Now, this is one I liked a lot more when I saw it as a kid as opposed to rewatching it now. It just didn't age well for me. I don't know exactly what was off. It's nothing completely off. It's just nothing completely engaging either. It stars, and I remember this guy from Home Alone 3. He's one of the villains in Home Alone 3. Lenny Von Dolan is this alien from another world, and he comes and he says, you know, there's a place in the world where this is the greatest TV show of all time, and you guys never finished it because, you know, you weren't renewed to finish the last half of the first season. And he says, I'll pay you in all this gold if you get the ensemble together, the director, the actor, all of this, and finish the season. I'll pay you like dumb money in gold. And so that's put on the table. And then basically the rest of the episode is people being like, why the hell does he want this? What the fuck? They don't know he's an alien. And then, of course, they start to do it and there's some problems and stuff like that. It's a fine episode. It's passable. I know some people that really love this one. I like it, but it's just, I don't know. Upon rewatch, I was like, it's a moderate thumbs up. It's like a B plus. Nothing special. Nothing I really want to talk about too long on this show here tonight because we're already an hour in. We're only like fucking, what are we, 7 episodes in, 8 episodes in. So this one we can largely gloss over. It's like a B plus episode. It's nothing bad. It's actually quite good. But I don't know. Overall, for me, Distant Signals was one I liked a lot better as a kid. I know it seems to be a fan favorite. People seem to really, really love it. I don't know though. I just didn't quite get there upon the rewatch. I thought it was like kind of mid, kind of middle of the road, maybe a little bit slightly above average. So that's Distant Signals, one that I don't know. I'd actually like to hear people's thoughts because I know it's a very highly liked episode. It was written by Theodore Gershony, who I really like. He's a great Darkside guy. Of course, it also stars Darren McGavin, who's in the episode as well. So definitely some people you'll know in there. But not one of my favorites. But this next one might just be one of my favorites because I know you have that piece of shit Exorcist movie coming out tomorrow, and I don't even have to see it. I'm not seeing it because I've fucking had it with these legacy sequels and nonsense. I'm so done with it. I don't care. You can't, but you just can't. Like Exorcist 3 is the Exorcist sequel. Like they just stop. Like I am so fed up with mainstream horror cinema. Like I want to stick my fingers down my throat. That's how fucking sick it makes me. But this right here is why I love Tales from the Dark Side. And it's not a dark episode. It's in fact a quite light and comedic episode. This is season 2, episode 9, which aired November the 24th of 1985. This is The Trouble with Mary Jane. Come on, somebody sing with me. Mary Jane, Mary Jane. Oh my God. This fucking episode. Let me brief plot synopsis. Mrs. Knudsen enlists the aid of bumbling occult students Jack and Nora Mills to exorcise Aisha Kandisha, the demon who is possessing her now goat-footed daughter, Mary Jane. Mary Jane. The price, 50,000 big ones. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is The Trouble with Mary Jane. Wow, what a fucking fun episode of this show. And like a huge reason as to why I love Tales from the Dark Side, because every now and again, when they would do comedy episodes, most times than not, they'd be fucking hysterical. And that's one thing that I always say the Twilight Zone struggled with. When the Twilight Zone tried to be funny, it didn't work. When this show tried to be funny, I thought it worked more times than not. This episode's a fucking riot, and it's directed by longtime series producer TJ Castronovo, who would go on to direct, of course, No Strings in season 4, which is one of my favorite episodes of the entire series. And this, though, a lot different in tone to that, is an Exorcist parody. You, of course, have this girl in the bed here, Mary Jane, who was nominated, I think, for some fucking award for this episode for her performance. You never, until the end of the episode, hear the girl's actual voice. It's Tanya Fenmore as the the girl Mary Jane, and then of course you hear Carolyn Seymour's voice as Aisha Kandisha. I have taken over this girl, and dude, this is a fucking riot. Like this is one of the funniest fucking episodes of TV. As Lawrence Tierney and fucking Phyllis Stiller are the occult students here, and you all remember Lawrence Tierney from fucking Reservoir Dogs, Mr. Blonde, Mr. Pink, Mr. Blue, Mr. Orange, and Mr. Pink. I mean, I love fucking Lawrence Tierney. He's one of my favorite fucking characters. Another guy, like these two, Phil Stiller and Lawrence Tierney, they're gone too. It's just sad. Like all the fucking people, I'm dead. It's just sad. It's just like, God damn it. Like all the fucking good actors they got for this season, they're all fucking gone. I love this episode as they come in and they're trying to exorcise the demons, and Lawrence Tierney's trying everything. We'll try a pig sacrifice. We'll try this. We'll try that. Phyllis Stiller, are you fucking nuts? Are you fucking crazy? We gotta fucking just get out of Dodge. This girl's really fucking possessed. And they do all these fun things where Aisha Kadisha's reaching for them and foaming at the mouth, and she says, I don't have feet anymore, I have goat feet. And she pulls the fucking covers off, and she has these hysterically bad fucking ghost doll feet, and they're like moving. I'm like, dude, this is a riot. I can't get over how funny this is. Incredible. I think what a great idea to make fun of a movie like The Exorcist that absolutely struck a nerve in the horror community. When that movie came out in 1873, people were scared shitless. They were lined up around the block to see the fucking Exorcist. That's how fucking big that movie was. 50 years later, and it's still a big fucking deal. That's The Exorcist. But to make fun of it here in such a fun, tongue-in-cheek way, and only a goofy Darkside episode could do, I thought it worked. I thought it worked so well. Of course, Lawrence Tierney's big plan at a point. Let's get an even more dangerous entity to fucking fight this entity out. And that's his big plan, is to have her get double possessed. And she does. She gets double possessed. And at one point, she's Aisha Kadisha, and then she's the other possessed, and it's a man. So the actress has to do man gestures and woman gestures, and they're fighting in the same body. I thought this was so fun. What a fun fucking episode of Darkside that I thought from start to finish was just absolutely fantastic. I mean, I absolutely loved every minute of this episode. I thought it was just so fun. I really did. I love The Trouble with Mary Jane, a perfect parody of, The Exorcist here. I just love this one. I really, really do. It's close to being an S. It's really close to being an S, but I think for now we're gonna have to go a strong A. It could really be fucking argued to be an S, because as a comedy episode, it probably is. It's just hits all the right notes for me. It's so funny. And then Lawrence Tierney just being Lawrence, Mr. Blonde, Mr. Pink. We have to get this entity out of this bitch. I mean, just funny shit, man. I just love it, man. I decided to not go to theaters for it. The cam version will be available Sunday. Yeah, no, fuck that shit. I'm not watching it. Come on, you don't think the director of Halloween Ends will make a good extra sequel? Hell no, I don't. Last Dance with Mary Jane one more time to kill the pain. Hell yeah, man. Mary Jane. Gizmo is here. Grande, how's it going? Good, Gizmo. Hope all is well with you, buddy. Sup, Gizmo? Hey, he was Elaine father in Seinfeld, and funny enough, Jerry Stiller was George's father. Yeah, no, isn't that funny? Isn't that crazy? Back-to-back episodes. Or, yeah. Well, I guess they had the one episode in between, but yeah, no, it's so crazy how you'd have both of those people go on to be in Seinfeld, which is another fantastic show, one of my favorite comedy shows ever. But this one right here, man, I just absolutely love Trouble with Mary Jane, a perfect parody episode of Darkside, and a damn good one in that. So, moving on here though, into an episode that scared me shitless as a kid. And an episode I think has aged really, really well. Another Theodore Gershony episode. With this one, he wrote and directed here. This is season 2, episode 10, which aired December the 1st of 1985. This is Ursa Minor. Richard and Joan's birthday gift for their daughter, Susie, is a large stuffed teddy bear. ... Or is it? Yes. Ursa Minor. Yes, Ursa Minor, which, of course, stars Marilyn Jones as the mother in this. And this is your classic talky Tina type episode, which Darkside, of course, did borrow a lot from the Twilight Zone. There's no doubt about it that this show's biggest influence was EC Comics and the Twilight Zone. It's almost like if those two met and had a baby, it would have been Tales from the Dark Side, of course, with the Romero and Rubenstein connections there. This episode is truly horrifying. And again, it puts the dark in Darkside. It's very effectively dark. As you have this little girl, it's her birthday. She gets this cute little teddy bear. And of course, neither the mother or the father want to take credit for it. We don't ever learn where it's come from. And of course, that's a big twist in the episode. Neither one of them got it for her, but they're both like, oh, you should have. Oh, no, you shouldn't have. They're kind of playing it off, but little do they know, neither one of them got it for her. And slowly but surely, you start to see the, horrific breakdown of a family. As these small things start, of course, Teddy broke the vase, and Teddy did this, Teddy did that, and the girl's blaming the doll for all these things. And you've seen that a million times. We've seen it in Child's Play. We've seen it in Living Doll. We've seen it a million times, and we'll see it a million times again. And there's a reason we do that. It's because it works. It's an age-old tale. It's an age-old story. Girl or boy gets doll. Things start to happen. Nobody believes them. And then shit starts to escalate from there. It's horror 101. I know some will say cliche. Some will say I've seen it before. Some will say tacky. I say classic. I say horror 101. Open a fucking horror chemistry book if it exists out there. And this will be one of the fucking chapters, is the formula to do an episode like this. And Theodore Gershony hits a fucking home run. I love this episode. It is so fucking effectively creepy, as you get these very interesting shots in throughout the house at night where he just kind of wanders around the hallways with the camera, and we're wondering where is Ursa Minor? Where is this teddy bear that eyes glow red in the dark, and all these creepy kind of elements. And slowly but surely, how this family starts to break down, right? The husband and wife start to fight over it and other things, and they're really clashing heads, and the daughter's in the middle of all this turmoil. We really see how this one doll starts to really break down this family piece by piece. And it is sad. You watch the deconstruction, you watch the descent into madness that this family takes here. And I thought it was so well done. I really, really liked Ursa Minor from top to bottom. Gershony does a great job directing it. And the entire reason I think this episode stands tall is the finale. And spoiler alerts here, if you're looking to check out the show, I am going to spoil the end of this one because you just can't not talk about it. She finally listens to the daughter. Mom, it's alive. It's alive. I'm telling you, it's alive. And she takes the doll as the doll's kind of reaching for the daughter. The eyes glow red. She grabs it and just stabs the shit out of it. All the stuffing. Oh my! I almost knocked off my fucking hat. All the stuffing is fucking coming out of this teddy bear, and she's violently stabbing it. And she's like, okay, I got it. It's over. It's over. And she kind of embraces her daughter. And then, of course, the fucking mama bear, Mama Ursa Major, breaks through the door. You see a giant bear claw as we go to credits. Like, holy fucking shit. Absolutely wild. I love how this episode ends. And it's kind of this whole kind of take on the constellations and how bears were named after them and how they were the powerful, animal in the animal kingdom. And the Little Dipper and the fucking Ursa Minor was the small bear, and Ursa Major was the big bear. And that's, of course, where you get the episode's name. I love this one. I think this is another solid A episode of Tales from the Darkside. Really, really good stuff. So far, we got so many fucking A's, man. So many. 5 A's out of 10 episodes. Half of them are A's. And then we have 2 S's, 2 B's, 1 C. So definitely some good stuff, man. Definitely some good stuff. Let's see. This is another good one. Totally agree. Let's see. The Exorcist Believer is the worst piece of poop ever. I heard it from a friend who saw it at TIFF. That can be compared to the Fog remake of quality. Oof, yeah. The plot of Ursa Minor sounds like the inspiration for the original Child's Play. It definitely has that sort of, vibe. It definitely has. It's that age-old tale, but it works. It really works. When is your short dropping online? Next Friday, buddy. 1 week from tomorrow, when the clock strikes midnight, Friday the 13th. Down by the Bay is where we'll go. So I'm very excited. Literally, so what we're going to do is, I guess I'll tell you guys now, since somebody brought it up. After the show next Thursday, which is the Halloween Town special, which should be a lot of fun, some G-rated horror for you guys, and perfect Halloween time movies. We're going to do that show. I took off work. I'm going to take off work the next day. There's no doubt about that. I won't be able to concentrate at work. So I took off the next day. I think I'm going to stream with Wes. We're going to do watch along, just shoot the breeze for a little bit. And then at midnight, of Friday 13th. So the 12th bleeding into the 13th, I'll be there for the premiere. We'll do the live premiere. And then, of course, it'll be available for you to watch. So if you don't want to stay up for that, totally don't worry about it, because it'll be on the next day at any time you want to watch it. I recommend this, though. I'll say this. When you watch it on the television, because we shot it in 4K and it looks fucking amazing. You can watch it on your phone, but it really needs to be watched on TV. Like it was like so much better on a TV than it is on your phone. Like I've watched it on both, and I think it works much better on a television. So highly recommend that. We are also doing one night only in the movie theaters this Tuesday, October the 10th. So we will screen it in the theater. We have a bunch of people coming. I'm super excited about that. A lot of the cast and crew and their families. And then we have some close friends that live nearby that are going to come. So I'm really, really excited for the short. I'm so excited to hear your guys' feedback. So looking forward to it. And like I said, I hope people are honest, and I hope people, like it, but at the same time, I could take the criticism. So people don't like it, people, feel I could have done better, please let me know. I'm always honest with you guys. So I hope you guys are honest back. And that's really all I'm looking for this. A lot of people are like, oh, you should have charged, or you should have done this, you should have done that. I'm like, dude, all I want from motherfuckers is feedback. I want people, I just don't want it's great if it gets X amount of likes, but I want comments. I actually really want people to be like, this is what I fucking think. Like, no matter what you say after that, unless you fucking insult me or my mother, I fair game, so it is what it is. I'll check it out then. Awesome, man. Can't wait. Really look forward to it. Oh, I am too, man. LO, what about a 10-inch table? 10-inch table. 10-inch table. Oh, 10-inch. I'm sorry, I fucking read it wrong. I'm like 10-inch table. What the fuck are you talking about? Yeah, no, that would work. Definitely would work. If you have a 4K TV though, highly recommend it. It really, really looks good. Like the color grading we did, and it looks so good on a TV. It really does. I keep it real with everything, and you'll get an honest opinion from me for sure. Yeah, I know I will. It's funny. Like somebody was asking me yesterday. They said, "Oh, you have all these great followers and subscribers," and it's not lost. I fucking love all you guys. I really do. Um, but somebody asked me. They said, "Whose opinion do you want to hear the most?" And I said, "I will fucking sound crazy, but the person's opinion I want to know most is the person I don't know." And what I mean by I really want to know what a total fucking stranger thinks of it. That's never heard of me or Grande's Graveyard or knows like what I went through to make it. I want to hear the total fucking stranger's opinion because I know of all of them that will be the most honest. And like I know you guys will be honest with me too, but at the same time, it's like I know unbiasedly, or I guess slightly biasedly, you guys watch my channel, you guys like what I do, and I like you guys back. There's probably a part of everyone that, okay, I want to like it just because, hoping for Grande, hoping it turns out good. I definitely know that's a part of what it is. So for a person that doesn't know shit or doesn't know me or doesn't know the whole fucking story, that's the person's opinion I actually do want to hear the most. But second most is the Graveyard crew here. So I am very excited to hear what you all think, man. I'm incredibly excited to watch Down by the Bay. Dude, I'm incredibly honored you even think that or feel that way. So thank you, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'll watch it on the TV if you're recommending that. I do. I really do. Like, it looks too fucking good to not watch it on the TV. Like it works so well on a TV. Really, really highly recommend that. Midnight, you want me to stay up till midnight? I'm gonna need motivation like a graveyard t-shirt. Well, I'll tell you what. I've now monetized YouTube fucking although this past week. I have enough watch hour. I don't have enough subscribers to be monetized, but I had so many fucking watch hours that people fucking got me monetization. So I could start selling merch again if people want me to. I would just want to know if people want reprints of the old shirt or if we want me to do a new shirt entirely. And depending on the reception, maybe we'll do a Down by the Bay shirt. But granted, we'll see. We'll totally see. It looks interesting just for seeing some screenshots. Yeah, no, definitely. I think it came out great. But man, at the same time, when it's your baby, it could come out deformed and I might not see it. So that's why I'm asking people. Like, it's like I worked on it. I wrote it. I fucking paid and produced it. I directed it. I can't be unbiased. It's just so personal, So that's why I asked for the feedback, and unbiasedly so. Yes. Yeah, hell yeah, man. Yeah, no, we are monetized now, shockingly. Oh, my channel's the opposite. I got the subscribers, but no one watches shit on my channel. But dude, no, you did great watch alongs. I love you and Juno together. And like, it's funny because you two together on paper, I wouldn't think it would ever fit. I don't even think it would ever work. Just because I don't know, maybe age difference, maybe I don't know why. Just I would never think, but man, you guys click so good and always have positive vibes in there. And man, I really really enjoy the watch alongs you guys do. I wish I could be at more of them, to be honest, man. It's just been so stressful. Like work lately has been draining the fuck out of me. Like, dude, getting up today, I felt like a fucking zombie. I was like, fuck, man. It was like 6:40 in the morning. I'm like, you got to do the graveyard later, you dumb bastard. You better get up, What is it about? I'll tell you. I still want that old t-shirt design. I'll tell you what, Sean, I got you. I'll reprint the old t-shirts and we'll go from there. So I will get a head count. I'll do a separate video on that. I'll hear what people say, and we'll see how many we want to reprint. And maybe I'll do a new one. Maybe I'll do a Down by the Bay one. We'll wait on that. I think we'll shoot for December because holiday season. I'll reprint them and we'll send them out again. So Down by the Bay, I guess you could do brief plot synopsis, right? I always do brief plot synopsises. So I actually have it up on YouTube. I have the plot synopsis. So let me fucking just go there and I'll read it to you just like I would normally do. So here, let's go here. I have a notification on fucking YouTube. So that's interesting, but I'm not going to see what that is till later. Somebody actually threw me a like on it. Thank you. I appreciate that. So Down by the Bay. This is a short horror film that I've written, produced, directed. It tells the story of Christina, a woman who is dared to go down by the bay where years earlier a woman went missing. Instead of heeding the warning of her friend JP, she presses on to the water. What she finds down there is the beauty of horror. Yes, that is the plot synopsis for my movie as read by me. I feel fucking pretentious, but yeah, it's man, I don't want to give too much away. It is a short, so the more I talk about it, I could ruin it. I don't really want to do that. But that is the brief plot synopsis. Yeah, a woman went missing down by the bay. This lady's warned about it, and yeah, we see the beauty of horror from there, buddy. So very interesting. Grande, get a shirt with only on the graveyard. I should do that. That would be really funny. So maybe. Yeah, I feel the same way with Juno too, Grande. Thanks for the feedback. Oh, dude, yeah, no, I wish I could be there more. I really do. I feel bad. Like you stream way more often than me too. Like I'm lucky if I do the one show a week. I guarantee that. But like I would love to do more as well. Like I definitely would like to expand on what I do. And the football streams have been fun. Not as many people have been watching that, but it's been a lot of fun to do for me as a selfish thing. But definitely have really enjoyed that. I got the subs and watch hours just trying to prove to YouTube that I'm not an actual criminal. I guess all the time Grande said, I'll never get monetized. Knew it had happened this year. Grats, homie. Oh, well, dude, your channel's fantastic and you have a great style. And I was stoked that you did an on-camera review of palindromes for me. That was fucking cool. No, I think your channel is great. Yeah, no, YouTube needs to fucking get fucked, man. Sold. Hell yeah, man. The beauty of horror, love that. Very intriguing. Yeah, no, I think the plot synopsis is great, and that line is said in the short, and I think it's the best line of the fucking movie. So I'm really excited to hear what people think, man. I can't accept money from people. Yeah, no, I agree. Like other than the merch, I've never, and I really didn't make a profit off the merch. And like monetization, I don't want. I like they were asking me, do you want to enable super chats? I was like, no, I don't want anybody's fucking money. Like, but what is cool is I could sell the merch on here. So that would be an easier way than for me to like be like, okay, get everybody's cash app and shit. Like this way I could sell it and you could just like click and buy it. I feel like that would be a lot easier than me having to fucking do all the shit myself. So that's more what I'm using it for. But I'm sorry we got off on a huge tangent about the fucking Grande, the mini series here. So I apologize about that. Let's move on to our next episode here, which is one that I really don't know how long I'm going to fucking talk about because this one, again, great concept, but just didn't really work for me. I don't really know why, but this is season 2, episode 11. This aired December the 8th of 1985. This is Effect and Cause. Artist Kate Collins is afraid to recycle her old canvases by painting over them because she thinks doing so is bad karma. She soon learns that she has the power to change reality. I don't know. This one, it's a great idea where it's like if you think a certain way, you can affect how reality plays out. Like there's a great scene where she sits down with this guy and she's like, what card is this? What card is going to be, like, she has the card face down. What card's that going to be? And he's like, I don't know. It could be one of 52 cards. Like, what are you trying to get from me? She goes, no, I want you to imagine a card that you've never seen. And he goes, okay. And she goes, now turn it over. He turns it over and it's the 7 of clocks. And it's turn it over and it's this and it's that. So as this thing plays out, she realizes that if you think and will hard enough, you can, affect things to happen. And, that's why it's not cause and effect, it's effect and cause. Really good concept. I just didn't feel the episode worked. I really, really didn't. I don't know. I just didn't like how this one flowed. I thought it was a little bit slow. The lead actress, Susan Strasberg, I don't know, kind of annoyed me after a while. I don't know. She was just very irritating to me. And like, I thought this episode had a really unnecessarily dark ending. I know it's Tales from the Dark Side, but like, as compared to the tone of the rest of the episode, I didn't see it ending as dark as it did. I don't know. For me, very lame episode. It tries, it has ambition. Maybe this is one of those episodes that it just, as a dark side, doesn't work. And we're about to get to one that's the same exact thing. Like you have, I'll spoil it. The episode Dream Girl is one of those, it just doesn't work because it's a dark side. If it was maybe another show, it would have worked. But this one is going to get like a C for me. I don't really care for this one. I think it's sort of weak. So it is what it is here. Let's get back into comments. Let's see. I don't do football, but seriously happy for the monetized thing. I was shocked. It just randomly messaged me. They were like, you have 3,000 plus watch hours of people, watching your stuff over the past year. You're monetized. And I was like, what? I was like, what the fuck? Like, it was like, apply now. And then it asked me, like, do you want to turn on the super chats? And I was like, fuck no, I don't want anybody's fucking money. I don't. But I will do the merch because it seemed like people want it. I just want a hoodie with Grande Graveyard logo on the front and the word only on the back. Dude, we can make that happen. We could totally make that happen. Yeah, he definitely deserves his car. He'll eventually be at 1K too. I would love to get to fucking 1K. That would be really cool, man. Pullover hoodie. Hell yeah, I agree, Sean. So, okay, right now, you're going to get a first time ever in Grande's Graveyard history as far as my knowledge, because this has never fucking happened. But I gotta fucking pee. So I'll be right back, everybody. Hold that dial, hold that tune, take a fucking piss break or a popcorn break yourself, because I gotta drain the main vein. Maybe it was because I drank all this water and fucking 2 Mountain Dews today. So hang on tight. We're gonna give you a full screen of Darkside here. I will be right back. I gotta piss. All right, Graveyard Fiends. I'm back now. Sorry about that. I probably lost my whole fucking audience, but I had to pee like a fucking racehorse, and I knew I was gonna fucking explode. So it is what it is. Imagine having to pee, amateur, dude. It has never happened in the history of the show. As far as my knowledge, I've never fucking taken a piss break. So it happened here. I was like, dude, I was like, there's no way I'm gonna make it to the end of this season without pissing my fucking pants. Yeah, it's fucking bunch of amateurs, man. I also checked my fantasy score. I'm fucking gonna lose, which fucking sucks. But I mean, it is what it is. Pissing in the graveyard, wind up pissing on his bones. Oh, I left for a second. Thought there was an issue with the volume. Oh my god, it's hysterical. Yeah, no, I've never taken a fucking piss break on here, but here it happened. It finally fucking happened. So it is what it is. So let's move on though from Affecting Cause, which I think is a shitty episode, to be honest. It's like very mid or below average here. But this is season 2, episode 12. This is Monsters in My Room. Biff doesn't understand children well and winds up at odds with his new wife, Helen's young son, Timmy, whose life is already complicated by the monsters that Timmy finds in his bedroom. Yes, Monsters in My Room. So this is actually the guy that wrote The Odds. I fucked up before when I said the other guy. So this is James Stephen Sadwith, who wrote and directed this. This is the guy that did The Odds. So I apologize for fucking that up. This is a really interesting episode too, and it stars a young Seth Green. Of course, Seth Green from Family Guy fame, and Seth Green from Ticks, and Seth Green from so many Party Monster. Seth Green is all over the place, and this stars a very young Seth Green as the lead character, and he believes that there are monsters in his bedroom. There are monsters that are of course, trying to get him, trying to kill him, and all of that. Very interesting concept, and I like the whole vibe of this episode. It feels very creep show. You have a father who doesn't really get his son. He doesn't appreciate his son. He's kind of, treats him like shit and says that all the stuff he likes is girly. And he's one of those like alpha dads. He's a really, really nasty guy. And of course, every night when, of course, Seth Green goes to bed, the mother sings him like a, good night song. And he's like, oh, it's lame. He's growing up to be a sissy. You're ruining that kid and all that stuff. But as the lights go out in the room, the monsters start to come out of the room. And of course, there's monsters in the closet. There's a tentacle squid creature under the bed. The dolls come to life. It's very imaginative and it's very creepy and unsettling as an episode. I think it really worked. I thought the atmosphere in it was really, really good and well done by James Stephen Sadwith, who of course also did The Odds, which, like I was saying, was my favorite season 1 episode. out there. This is a very different tale. This is definitely telling the personal story of, a stepfather versus son, and how those two kind of clash together. I thought that stuff was really well done. There's a horror in that in and of itself. And of course, every night when you are exposed to the stuff that's going on in this room, it is very creepy and effective. And then of course, when you have the whole finale where the father, he comes into the room and you don't believe in these things, you shouldn't believe in monsters, all this stuff, he gets fucking attacked by these monsters. Then it's like, holy shit, all of a sudden, everything just changes on a dime. So I thought that worked. I really like this episode a lot. I see Sean Blue Digital says, this episode is the one that really pulled me into the show because besides the very first episode of season 1, it's goofy when you think about it, but it got me good when I was a kid. I think it's like every kid's nightmare, like to have monsters in your closet, monsters coming out of the room and stuff like that. Like, I think it works in that regard. I think it really, really works. It's effectively done. They also bring back the witch from the very first episode. That's right. They do. Yeah, that's a good call, man. Gotta head to work. Can't stop farting. Gonna be a good night. Only on the graveyard. Cheers, Corey. Thank you for checking out the show tonight, man. I really like this one. I think it's another damn good episode from top to bottom. I think he does a really, really good job acting in this. And it's going to be another A tier, man. This is like the amount of A tiers you're getting so far is fucking wild. Like, you really, just so much quality stuff in this fucking season. Let's see what Mateo says. Speaking of Seth Green, It TV series. That's right. I don't know why I didn't mention that. That's like the one that, everybody remembers him from. It TV series. Are you a fan of Robot Chicken? Love the It TV series from 1990. I love Robot Chicken as well. Robot Chicken has a great sense of humor. I know he was the creator. And I also know that he's a fan of Dawn of the Dead because, of course, if you ever listen to the end of Robot Chicken, they do the gonk, but it's in chicken. That's the gonk from Dawn of the Dead. So I always thought, wow, like, how cool is that they would fucking homage my favorite movie ever on Robot Chicken. And I always thought Robot Chicken had a great sense of humor and a really cool, I guess it's sort of claymation animation. I don't know exactly what you would call that style, how they shoot that show and use in that show, but I think it's so fucking well done. I really, really enjoy it from top to bottom. Very good stuff is Robot Chicken. I like that show. So Monsters in My Room, I think, is a damn good episode. I forgot to say it aired December the 22nd of 1985. Really good one. This is the last one that would air in 85 as we move on. They would take a couple of weeks off, I guess, for the Christmas break, and then air their next episode on January the 12th of 1986. This is season 2, episode 13. This is Comet Watch. Yes, Comet Watch. An amateur astronomer makes a surprising discovery about Halley's Comet after a young woman falls out of his telescope. Yes, this one's directed by fucking Warner Shook, who, of course, Dawn of the Dead fame, anyone? I don't know if Alpha's still here, but he knows Warner Shook. Some of these obscure Romero people. So cool and weird to see him show up here. Of course, it stars Fritz Weaver, who is, granted, he's not really the lead of the episode. He's sort of a side player, but so cool to see Fritz Weaver, of course, Inside the Closet, and of course, Creep Show, and so many great roles for Fritz Weaver over the years. I always really liked him and his style. He's very fun over the top in this, as we follow this guy who's very much in love with astronomy, and he hates his wife. She treats him like shit. And one night he has the chance to watch this really rare comet. And what happens is it opens up a portal where this woman flies through his telescope, and then they fall in love. But his wife is mad about it, and she's trying to intervene. And then, of course, Fritz Weaver comes in, and they're both from like another time. And the whole episode is basically these 4 people in a room arguing over, who should stay, who should love who should go back, how much time they have, and this comet and what it affects, and all these things. I thought this one was sweet. It wasn't anything great, and it's nothing like serious. It's a very like cheesy, mooey gooey love story, but I think in a good way. I really like this episode. It's cool to see that Warner Shook would direct this. Of course, Jules Selbo was the writer, and she would write a lot of episodes of Tales from the Darkside. Of course, Mary Mary was just a favorite from season 4. And of course, she would go on to write quite a few Monsters episodes, Mr. Swolbar, like so many interesting stories that Jules Selbo wrote. And, I like her perspective. It's funny. It's like you actually get quite a few women involved with writing these. Like you had Edith Swenson wrote some of the best Darksides. Jules Selbo definitely did not write a lot of great ones, but like still, it's very interesting to see like women writers getting the opportunity to write not just one, but a large, quantity of episodes. And this one I think was really nice. I liked the heart in it. I think The Fritz Weber was a lot of fun. I think the tone of it was just right. It wasn't too serious. It was kind of a comedy, like a supernatural science fiction comedy, and it worked. I think for the most part, it worked. So I would say this one comes in at like a BB plus. I think this one works overall. I think it's fun. I think it's worth a watch. I know there's a lot of people that hate this one, but I don't know. I don't feel that way about it. I think it's definitely passable stuff. I am Mateo. Yeah, no, definitely like Robot Chicken. Yeah, the robots. Yeah, the Star Wars stuff does work, man. It's definitely quality. But moving on here into wow, one of the lowest rated Tales from the Dark Side that there ever was. This comes in at a 3.9 on IMDb. Do I think it's that bad? We're going to find out right now. This is season 2, episode 14 that aired January the 19th of 1986. This is Dream Girl. A theatrical director finds herself trapped along with her colleagues in a dreamlike world created by a stagehand. Yes, Dream Girl. Of course, Carolyn Seymour shows up here. Of course, she was doing the voice of Aisha Kandisha in the other episode. She is the lead here, and they have her in this hilariously bad wig and like a fucking Swiss-made outfit, and she is looking fucking fine in this episode. So for nothing else, the 3.9 I think is a little bit harsh considering how good looking she is in this episode. The episode itself, though, bizarre. You have Lou Kutel playing Otto Schrag, who is, they say he's a stagehand. It looks like he's a custodian. Like he's mopping the floor throughout most of this episode. And basically what happens is you fall into the dream world of this guy when he falls asleep, and it takes all the people that work on the actual theater plays into his fantasy with them. And they're in all these weird dreamlike scenarios. Like they're sitting in like, you know, it's supposed to be Venice and they're having dinner. It's fucking weird. It's very weird, unsettling episode that just is just bizarre. And like they do try. It is one of those things where it's like I see the effort was here and I see ambition. And whenever I see ambition, it's hard for me to fail something. So maybe that's why this is going to avoid being the F on this show. It really, really is ambitious. This is, like I said before, it disbenefits from being a Darkside episode. You would need more money to do this. You would need more production to do this. You would need better actors to do this. Like it's so much more complex than what a Tales from the Darkside 21 minute episode of TV can really produce. And you know, what do I mean by that? Tales from the Darkside generally was always in one location. It was generally always one location episodes, because obviously if you did more than one location, that would be more money. And if you spent more money, you couldn't just do that because that was Richard P. Rubenstein's goddamn money and he's a cheap motherfucker. This is all like in a stage studio and like everything is just so poorly done. Like if you're in a dream world, you want to play with that. You want to expand that world. You want to make it as colorful and imaginative as possible. And you just clearly didn't have the fucking resources to do that here. And I can't blame the filmmaker or the writer for that issue. That's on the producer. If they have a great idea like that, man, you can't accept them and be like, yeah, no, I'll give you and you'll do what you got. No, you got to let them fly and see if they can get the money and the proper funding for it elsewhere, in my opinion. And that's really what disbenefits this episode the most, I think, is its budget, is this show. You know, it just didn't work here. So I personally don't hate it as much as probably most people. And I'm going to actually put it as a C minus. I don't think it's a D. I do think it's passable. I just think it's one of those, it's a very good idea that's just a little bit too big for its bridges with this particular series. It just didn't work. I don't think Tales from the Crypt, it would say Tales from the Crypt, but I think like Outer Limits might work for this. Twilight Zone might work for this. Something that could really, you could play with a dream world. But Darkside is just not ever going to work with that. They tried. They really, really tried. And that's why I can't fail them, because I see effort here. The director, Timna Rannan, and it's directed by Barbara Paul. So this was an all-women episode written and directed by women, 2 different women. And I don't know. I think I appreciate their ambition. I just don't think they had the resources, unfortunately. But depending on who you ask, this might be the worst episode of the series. But I didn't think it was that bad. I really didn't. I really, so far, this might be a slight spoiler, I don't think there is an F of season 2. I really don't. Like, I always like to talk it out before I fucking decide. But I don't think there's an F here. I really don't. There might be a D, but I do not think there's any F. I really don't. And speaking of things that are very quality, season 2, episode number 15, that aired January the 26th of 1986. This is a new lease on life. Archie Fenton moves into the St. George apartments, which has to be a nod to George Romero, where the lease has Cavets. He must take out the trash every night and he must not hang pictures on the walls. There are only strange things about the St. George. Yes, a new lease on life. This is directed by John Streisig, who another really great Darkside director, and he directs my favorite episode probably of all time, just coming up in a few episodes here. So I'm very excited to talk about that one. But this is no, small feat and bad example here for when you're talking about a great episode of Tales from Darkside, because this is a great one. This guy moves into an apartment. All seems too good to be true. The rent is affordable. He's fed like a king. The only catch is you got to dispose of the garbage, and it has to be only food. You can't put utensils or anything sharp or plastic or anything down the garbage chute. He's like, that's weird. He goes to hang up a picture, and the wall spits out the picture. And the fucking wall starts bleeding, almost as if he's put a wound in the wall. And it's almost like as the episode goes on, you realize this apartment building is alive. If you knock hard enough on the walls, it feels it. If you nail in something into the wall, it feels pain. It bleeds. Very interesting stuff. I was like, that is very fucking cool to me. Like to have this whole, it's $200 a month to live here, which I would fucking do it. I would $200 a month to live in that apartment. I would fucking do it. I would take out the trash every night. That is ridiculous savings. You are saving so much fucking money if you live there, man. But of course, he knows it's too good to be true. And he has this encounter running with one of the other tenants who is trying to warn him, like, oh, they're up to no good here. I've been here a long time. They're on to me. I'm on to them. And she's just kind of this frantic, crazy woman who's trying to warn him to get out, but he won't listen because he thinks he knows better. And of course, as this thing plays out, he may just fall victim to this apartment building and be eaten by the trash compactor, which is, this sort of mouth thing here, which instead of like a garbage chute, they made it look like an esophagus, which I thought was really quite clever and funny. As they did this here. Now, it doesn't look great. No, it doesn't. But I think it's well done. I think this is a good episode. Of course, it has Robert Rothman as the lead in it. I think he does a good job. John Streisig does a good job with the direction here. I really like this episode. I think that A New Lease on Life is a damn good season 2 episode, and it's going to be at another fucking A tier. So we have gotten so many fucking good episodes to the point where now the A tier is overflowed and we have like double A tier, man. So you have a lot of good quality shit here. So very, very fun stuff here. What's missed to say? Off subject, but have you ever thought of doing a top 10 Yiddies episode of Grande's Graveyard? I have not. I can tell you right off my head, if we're talking just Yiddies in horror movies, you're narrowing it down for sure. Because like Yiddies, like right now, if I say like who has the best Yiddies, it would be Haley Atwell. That woman is the best fucking pair of Yiddies I've ever seen in my life. Like there should be a monument built to that woman's Yiddies. That's how fucking nice they are. Like it is fucking amazing. Horror movie Yiddies, Debbie Sue Voorhees. I mean, no brainer. I love Debbie Sue's Yits. Trying to think. The lady, as much as the Friday 13th remake is forgettable, the most memorable thing about it is Juliana Gold's perfectly circular Yits. I mean, holy fucking balls. Those are some nice fucking Yits. What are some fucking Yits that I like, man? Fucking put me on the spot here. I'm trying to think of fucking Yits. Gotta love Yits. Anybody? Fucking Yitz McGee from Sleepaway Camp 2. Valerie Hartman. Oh my fucking holy Yitz, man. This is some fucking. Well, this is a bad road for me to go down. LOL, love that idea, Miss Carter. You rule. LOL, we need more people like Miss Carter. Hell yeah, Miss Carter is the best. Thanks, Sean. I grew up on an era of Yiddies and gore. Hell yeah. For me, it's a battle between Yiddies and Life Force and Cemetery Man. Wow, dude. Matilda May, I think, wins that. Yiddies galore. I would let Matilda May suck more than the Life Force out of me. If you catch my drift, Hal. I love fucking Life Force. Oh my God, Barbara fucking Michelle. Oh my God, dude. And like the fact that they couldn't have that kid in the room at the same time. Like they had a film that, because obviously, dude, if I would have been like, that would have been the first one I would have ever discovered. It was like, holy fucking Yits, man. Like that is like, when you first see that, it's a magical scene. She's like, bring me that lemonade, bring me that orange juice. And the kid's like, hello. I'm like, dude, holy shit, man. I would have fucking I'm trying to think now. You really have me thinking about it. I'm like, I don't want to like miss out on anybody because I already missed Matilda May from Life Force, which should have been a layup. So I thank Sean for the. I think you know what, fuck it. I'll give the assist and we'll let Sean have the 2 points because he thought of it over me. So I love Soledad Miranda, but she doesn't have yits at all. Like she's a very small ass yit. Soledad Miranda was all face and presence. I'm looking at the DVD rack here, trying to see if like yits that stand. Oh fuck. Asia Argento, Mateo. Asia Argento's yits. Oh my god, man. In anything, fucking Dracula, fucking does she get naked in Phantom? I know she gets naked in Trauma. Well, she was too young at that time. I'm gonna blow your mind. I never really thought Linnea Quigley was that attractive, but she did have a crazy set of yits. So yeah, no, definitely some crazy yits. I definitely this is fucking out of nowhere. It's like yeah, Darkside, all that yits. Anyone? But yeah, no, definitely Linda Blair. I never liked Linda Blair. I never got the fucking appeal. Same with Jamie Lee. Never loved Jamie Lee like most people. That's who I'm at. Debbie Sue Voorhees. I did mention her. Yeah, that is some of the nicest fucking yits you've ever seen. She has like Haley Atwell yits, which I do think Haley Atwell is the nicest set of yits of all time. I really do. Like that is fucking inhuman that those are real. Okay. Before we fucking move on, let me fucking bring up this lady's yits because they might actually be better than Haley Atwell's. It is actually fucking insane how big this lady's yitties are. And like, I bet you that if I recommend this, everybody in their fucking papaw is going to go out and try to watch it. So it was Masters of Horror, season number 2. It's the episode Right to Die. I'm looking up right now. I think the actress's name was Julie Benson. I want to make sure I got that right. Yes, okay. Julie Benson in Masters of Horror season 2, Right to Die, has a nude scene with her yits in the hot tub. It is the hottest fucking yit scene I've ever seen in my life. It is number 1. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. I'm pretty sure Linnea Quigley in Night of the Demons or Return of the Dead was my first. Oh, well, dude. Yeah, no, I love both those movies. I'm actually going to see Night of the Demons and Friday 5 in theaters next Friday night, which is going to be a lot of fun. It's Suspiria tomorrow, which was I was telling Mateo about. Argento's Yitty's happy, too easy to see. Yeah, for real, man, it is. So, yeah, Julie Benson would be in that Masters of Horror episode, I would say is amazing yet. So you know what, Miss C, maybe we'll do like a mini-sode of yits just for you. But I'm more of a butt guy. I'm definitely more of a butt guy than yits, but I do love yits. And it seems like that word brings a lot of joy. Not because tits is so negative. If you say tits, like tits, it's just so greasy. It's fucking mean. Yits, it's more fun. Yits, I don't know. It's more fun and positive. I don't. It's like the difference between saying pussy and the C word. Like the C word, I don't like to say because it's just so negative and mean. The pussy, it's like so warm and it's so inviting and it's just friendly. Like I don't know how to explain it. I'm not asking you to like them. Just thinking of yitty size and jiggling abilities. Holy shit! Oh my god. Well, I think if we're gonna do a top 10 yit list, we have to fucking like the yits. So jiggling aside. But let's move on here. I'm sorry, guys. I want to get through this here. Let's move on into the next episode, which is, of course, season 2, episode number 16, which aired in February the 2nd of 1986. This is Printer's Devil. A desperate, frustrated writer and auteur is convinced by a shady, oversized producer to use animal sacrifices to become successful. Things don't go as planned. Yes, another John Harrison episode. He would write and direct this one too. Absolutely love this episode. I think Printer's Devil is a really, really good episode as well, as John Harrison comes back to direct this year. And this is, of course, again, another one that Twilight Zone literally did an episode called Printer's Devil with Burgess Meredith playing the devil himself. So awesome stuff. Here you have like the great Hambino devil. He's like 500 pounds. He looks like he belongs on my 600 pound life or 600 pound sisters. Like he looks like he could be on a show like that. He's so fucking fat. And this guy, he's down in his luck. He's, miserable and poor and single and alone and all these things. And he goes to this guy. He's like, hey, listen, like, I need help. And he's like, listen, if you do animal sacrifices, you'll start selling scripts and you could become very rich. And the more you do, the more you'll make. And he's, this writer that's kind of faced with this decision. What do I do? Like, I'm poor. I can't pay my electric bill. I'm fucking eating my feet for dinner. What the fuck am I going to do? And, he starts to actually do it. And he starts to murder these animals in order to sell his scripts. And he meets a woman. He falls in love. He's got money now. He's got resources, but he starts to feel gross and dirty about what he's doing to all these innocent animals. And it's not just like, oh, kill a pig. It's, you have to kill a pig, you'll have to kill a monkey, you'll have to kill a cow, you'll have to kill all these weird, like, abstract animals that you wouldn't normally just fucking kill for the sake of it, for a bacon strip or a fucking burger. Animals that are not relatively picked off for food. And he starts to feel horrible about this, and he goes back to him. He's like, listen, I can't do this anymore. I quit you. And he leaves them, and then, of course, starts falling on hard times. The money starts to run out. He doesn't know what to do. And then, of course, he says, there's one thing you'll have to sacrifice in order to get the money back. And he's like, what? He goes, your wife. And he's given that dilemma. And, man, I think this is a really good episode. It really tells the story of the horrors of struggling and being down and on hard times, right? Like, this is somebody that really wanted to make it honestly, and because he couldn't, because he was starving, because he was down on his luck and out of money, he starts to betray himself and betray his own respectability, and starts to murder these animals in order to gain fame. I thought this was really dark. I thought this was a really good idea, and John Harrison did a great job as the director. I think another fucking A tier episode is Printer's Devil. I really, really like this one. Let's see. I would love to see Night of the Demons on the big screen. Would probably lose my mind and mosh into the audience during the theme song. Hell yeah, man, dude. Yeah, next Friday. I'm so looking forward to it. It's Friday 5, followed by fucking Night of the Demons on Friday the 13th, which is awesome because my short will drop that day. So I'll celebrate that, take the day off of work, and then fucking go to the movie theater and celebrate. I have my Part 5 mask and a costume, so I'm going to dress up as Roy from Part 5 just to end the week. It's going to be a really fun week. Tuesday night in the theater in a suit, and then by the time we get to Friday, we'll be dressed up as Roy. So that should be a lot of fun. Let's see. Miss Carter's on fire. Absolutely. Missy is hysterical. But let's move on here to our next episode, as we have season 2, episode number 17, I believe. Yeah, episode number 17, which aired on February the 9th of 1986. This was a weird one. This was one I actually had never seen either. This is The Shrine. Cecilia Matthews has turned her daughter Christine's bedroom into a shrine, but Christine didn't die. She merely suffered a nervous breakdown, has recovered, and is coming in for a visit. But there's a new tenant in her room. Yes, another Jules Salvo script directed by Christopher T. Welch, who I don't remember him directing any other Darksides. Maybe he did, but I don't know. This one was interesting. Like, I am kind of in the middle on this one. Like, there's things I liked about it, things I didn't. Now, this tells a story of this woman who, has this nervous breakdown. She left home, and her mother had a nervous breakdown because of that. She felt she failed her as a mother and as a parent. And this girl comes back and, oh, mother, I still love you. I'm sorry for everything that happened, and I really want to rekindle our relationship and all this stuff. And of course, the mother meets her with a lot of hostility. You walked out on me. You shouldn't have done that. Your sister was still here with me and all of that stuff. And she's not happy with her daughter, long story short. And as this episode plays out, you start to hear these like little voices coming from her old bedroom. And she kind of peeks in every now and again. She doesn't see anything. And then one day she goes in there and she sees herself as a child. And you see that the room has been taken care of as a shrine for this little girl that, left abruptly, left her mother, had the mental breakdown. And the mother's image of her is herself as a little girl, as a child. That's the image that she wants to remember her daughter as, because she's so ashamed of her parenting job and what happened to her daughter as she grew up. And I think there's a lot of horror in that, right? There's the horror of failing as a parent. There's the horror of failing as a child. I know a lot of people say, oh, it's always the parent's fault. Children can fail too. Some children can be given every single advantage and opportunity in life and fail miserably anyway. Sometimes it's the kid that fucks it up. Sometimes it's the parent that fucks it up. Sometimes it's both. And here's an episode talking about the horrors of that. And I really liked some of the gags they do in this. Like, you hear the little voices. She'll peek into the room. There's nothing there. I know you're in here, you little bitch. Pop out, show yourself, reveal yourself. And she does. And mother loves me. She doesn't love you. She loves me. She loves this person, this version of me, because this version of me was innocent and lovable, and she didn't make mistakes and all these. She's lecturing her. That stuff I liked. And the episode really does have a good tension. There's a great scene where the mother and smaller daughter, the older daughter, whatever the fuck, they're singing this kind of night tale, and the oldest daughter that had the breakdown, she comes in, she's like, stop singing, or snap out of it, mom. I'm here, I'm your daughter. That it's very intense. It's very melodramatic. It works, but like I didn't love it either. Like it's definitely it's better on paper than it is in execution, but I wouldn't say it's bad either. So it's like this one. This one I'm gonna come in like a B. I think it's a solid B. No plus, no minus, just a solid straight up B for The Shrine. I think it's an okay enough episode. I think there's probably some people that would like it more than me, but for now, like a B. Very solid mid episode. Miss Carter knows how to have fun. Absolutely. Miss C is a lot of fun. Y'all making me blush. I know what I like. I like yitties and gore. Well, hell yeah. Who the hell doesn't like yitties and gore? We're gore hounds and we're yit hounds till the days we die. Absolutely. I love it. Let's move on, though, into our next episode here, which is season 2, episode number 18. This is The Old Soft Shoe, which aired, on February the 16th of 1986. A traveling salesman has a ghostly date with an attractive woman in a motel, which turns ominous. Yes, The Old Soft Shoe. I really like this one. This one was actually recommended to me by my good friend Shaheem, who we did 3 years ago. We did a Darkside. And Darkside says Halloween to me. It says October to me. Like it just fits the spirit. And we did like our top 13 favorites, to be unlucky about it. And this was one of the ones he mentioned. I had not seen it until that episode, and I loved it when I saw it. And I loved it upon rewatch. It's a really, really cool episode. It tells the story of Paul Dooley's character, who I actually remember from some Golden Girl episode. I don't remember which one, but he was in a Golden Girls episode. And he is this guy who's, you get the idea, he would like to cheat on his wife. He's married, but like he definitely would be up to cheating on his wife if he could. He's not the greatest moral guy, I suppose. And he checks into this hotel, or at least he's trying to, and this woman, hot woman comes in. He's like, oh yeah, you can cut me, you're a hot woman. She takes the last vacant room, and he's like, oh shit, what am I going to do for the night? I just out of the kindness of my dumb old heart let her have the last room. Where the hell am I supposed to sleep? And the guy goes, listen, I have a room, but I don't want to rent it to you because it's haunted. And he's like, what the fuck, what do you mean? He goes, oh well, people died in this room, you shouldn't go in the room. He's like, listen, I need to sleep tonight. I'm just going to go in the room. And he's like, here's the money. I'm taking the keys. And the guy's like, don't do it. Don't do it. You shouldn't do it. Guy doesn't listen to him. He goes into the room. And basically what happens is he goes back in time to like I think it's supposed to be like the 1950s. And he meets this woman that died in the room, played by, I think it's Kathy McLean. It might even be Dorothy Park. I'm not sure the actress's name in this episode. Maybe if I click on the picture, it'll tell me. It is Dorothy Park. Okay. Dorothy Park, who is gorgeous in this episode. You don't see her yet, but you can tell she has nice ones. And we were, oh my God, when we get to the season finale, you want to talk about good looking fucking yets that you don't see. It's a Friday the 13th part 3 actress that is in the season finale of this. So we'll stay tuned for that. But yeah, no, this woman is beautiful, and she's in all this sexy lingerie throughout the whole episode, and she's really trying to attract this guy. And he's like, listen, I'm not going to fight you. And she, like, you get the idea that she sees him as somebody else. Like she sees him as this gangster that she fell in love with. And you get the idea that they were both brutally massacred in this room, but they have these sensual moments where they're dancing. And, you get the idea that they made out a little bit. You get the idea that they go in the bathtub together. It's a very steamy episode of Darkside, but of course it has that dark twist on it. He stepped back into a time where he's in the hotel room where these people are going to be fucking gunned down. And it's dark and it's coming. So it really does work. I think this is an effective episode. And I like the pacing of it. I like the creep element, and I like the finale. I really like this episode. I think this is like a damn good one. It's directed by Richard Friedman and written by Art Monterastelli, who, again, another writer-director I don't know. Those are two I'm not as familiar with, but they did a really good job. I actually wish the director had done more episodes of this, because this is going to be another A tier episode here as the Old Soft Shoes lands in at the number, or not the number, but the letter A, if you will. But no other comments at this time, which excites me because we've now reached the episode that you've all been waiting for. At least I've been waiting for, because in my humble opinion, it's has to be in conversation for the greatest episode in the history of television. And I'm not just saying this show. I'm saying the history of television. I am not kidding you. I really believe this episode would have to be in fucking contention for that. It's my favorite episode of the series. It was for a long time. I wanted to be different and say Family Reunion was my favorite episode, but there's no lying and there's no denying that The Last Car is a masterpiece, and it's one of the greatest episodes of TV of all time. In my top 5 episodes of any show ever. It could be my number one favorite episode of any show. That's how great this is. As we'll move on into this right now, because I just adore this thing from top to bottom. And I really want to get deep into this discussion as we go for season 2, episode 19, which aired February the 23rd, 1986. This is The Last Car. A pretty university student named Stacy waits to board a train that will take her home for Thanksgiving. However, Stacy soon discovers there is something unusual and terrifying about the last car of this train. Yes, John Streisig returns to direct, great director. Michael McDowell comes back to write, and this is my favorite written episode of the show. And to me, is proof that Michael McDowell was a master of horror. I cannot tell you enough. I just love this episode from top to bottom. It starts off so simple as this woman, she's trying to get home for Thanksgiving. This is a year before, of course, planes, trains, and automobiles. But of course, you do have a train and a woman trying to get home before Turkey Day, which I thought was kind of funny. As she is waiting at the train stop, and subtly they kind of just have these things in there, like the exit sign falls down, and you have her have these throwaway lines. Oh, hopefully I get home in time and meet my boyfriend and all these things. Very, standard setup. It takes a while for the train to come. The train comes, she gets on. Every single cart is filled to the brim, and she can't get a seat until she gets to the last car, where you have an old woman, no relation to an old man, and then you have a little kid that likes to dress up as all these different things. She goes to sit down. Oh my God, I'm so happy I made this train. I'm so excited to get home. I'm just so ecstatic I made this train. Oh my gosh. And as this thing plays out, the horror that ensues is some of the best stuff I've ever seen in any television episode ever. It's so well done. You have these great sequences, which I did as the thumbnail, where she goes, oh, I'm going to sleep for a little while. She'll turn, and then her reflection pulls the shade down for her, like kind of looks at her as it does it. Simple, nothing. Wow, how did they do that? You know how they did it, but it's like it worked. That was so effective. Every single time they go through a tunnel, it seems like all these other people in the last car are afraid. Oh my God, there's a tunnel. They're grabbing onto each other, and she doesn't know why. Why are you so scared of these tunnels? What is going on? And as this thing plays out, man, you slowly but surely get hints as to what's going on, but you never get answers. You never get a clear-cut answer, and I think that's why this worked. If they actually said what was going on, it never, ever, ever would have the impact that it does. And some of the conversations are just great. Like, oh, why don't I see lights outside? Why don't I see the stars? And why don't I see this? Why don't I see that? And clouds cover the stars, dear. You know what I feel like? I feel like I'm in a tunnel. When we're in a tunnel, you'll know. Just so creepy and ominous. It's like, what do you know that I don't know? Like, and there's a point where she's like, oh, there's a tunnel, and the kid starts crying in the old woman's arms. She's like, well, she didn't know, dear. She didn't know. What don't I know? Tell me what I don't know. You tell me right now what I don't know. She's getting up in this old lady's face, and the old lady's like, sit down, dear. Like, you're gonna have to take it easy now. I love that. Begonia Plaza does a great job this episode. She's still alive. I would love, if I ever could speak with her, would love to know what she thinks of this episode, because she does do some interviews on YouTube. I think she has her own channel, but I've never seen her talk about this, and I would love to hear what she thinks, because I think it's a masterpiece, and she's so great in it. A beautiful woman, really, really easy on the eyes. You have no problem watching her throughout this whole thing. But again, the sequences of horror, like I'm just gonna jump off the back of this train. I want off the last car, and the last car rocks you to sleep, dear. She goes off, tries to jump off the back door of the caboose, and it says, like, if you open this door, you will pay the fine of, and then the paper's ripped, so you don't know what the fine is. Is it money? Is it her soul? Is it her life? What will she pay if she opens this back door? She does it anyway, doesn't listen. There are these weird things going on with this old man who has this box where anything can be pulled out. Do you want a sandwich? Do you want chickpeas? Do you want to play a card game? He has everything in the world in this box. Why? I don't know, but it's like, what the fuck? It's weird. It's so fucking weird. You have just amazing scene where this conductor comes in and she tries to get thrown off the train. Throw me off. Throw me off the train. I don't have a ticket. Anything to get off this car because she just doesn't know what's going on and she's terrified now for her life. And the conductor just ignores her request. Ticket, please. And she's like, when you go back, can I come back with you? Like, please, I want to get out of this car. It smells funny. What do you care what the reason is? I need to get out of here. And they do a great job at really making you feel not only claustrophobic, but uncomfortable in this car because you know something's up. But again, you don't know what, and it's never said. And there's so many interpretations that you can have as to what is going on. Like, I always took it as like she's dead, and this is like the train. Like, this is the fucking last car in hell, maybe. Some I've heard people say purgatory. I don't think purgatory because they all clearly seem to be dead. And every time they go in a tunnel, it's when things escalate and they all like fucking freak out and their eyeballs roll back in their head and it's fucking insanity. And the final kind of, climax of this to me is why I love it. Begonia Plaza tries to run with the fucking conductor. Tunnel. He kind of goes tunnel. And she runs up to the thing, trying to turn the door. Open, open, open. It won't. She looks up and he's a skeleton now. He tips the cap to her and she screams. And they do this awesome, ominous blue lighting in the last car as she turns and sees the old man is a corpse. The child is a corpse. The old woman is sitting there knitting and she's a fucking evil looking corpse. And Begonia Plaza just starts screaming and covers her eyes. Horror at its finest. Horror at its fucking finest, man. I love how Michael McDowell writes this episode. I love how Streisig directs it because it's so fucking simple yet so damn effective and gets underneath your skin in all the right ways. She kind of opens and she's looking around. And I love how this episode ends where she almost accepts what's going on. Like she goes, sits over with the old woman. Hey, could you knit me a blanket? I'm very cold. And yeah, sure. I've been working on this. And you get the idea maybe time doesn't apply in this car, but she's going to spend eternity here. And the tunnel. They get the whole tunnel thing again. And then you see that she's turned into a corpse too. To me, a masterpiece. I think everything I love about this show can be embodied in this one episode because it's so well directed, it's so well written, it's so simple. You have the one setting, but they nailed it in its execution. And a guy like Michael McDowell, and the reason I love him as a writer, especially this episode, is he doesn't give you the answers. It's all up to you. And I've seen people analyze this in like so many different ways, like if it was a Lynch movie or something like that. I don't know if it's meant to be thought about that deeply. I don't know if there is anything that deep in here, but it's so interesting and entertaining that you just can't help but love it. I absolutely love The Last Car, the absolute S tier of S tiers, and to me, in conversation for the greatest episode in television's history. I love this episode. It is by far my favorite episode of the series and one that I watch every single year without fail. I think it's just a masterpiece. And it's the one I remember when I saw it as a kid made me a clear fan of the show. Like I was like, I love this show. Like when I saw this episode, I was like, I love Darkside. Like you can have Crypt, you can put Crypt over, you can tell me how great Crypt is. I don't think ever in history of fucking Tales from the Crypt, in all 7 seasons, that they ever did an episode as good as The Last Car. Love it. Absolute masterpiece. And if there's any episode I can recommend you watch, if you haven't seen, it's this episode. Watch The Last Car, enjoy it, thank me later because it is truly a masterpiece of television. And you know what's funny? And I was saying before how they knew with the scheduling, they knew how to space this out. This was like a 2/3 of a way season finale. The next episode did not air months until this airs in February the 23rd of 86. The next episode doesn't come out till I believe it is May the 4th. May the 4th be with you of 86. So they waited months, almost 3 months to have the next episode drop. That's how good and quality The Last Car was. I think they knew they had something here. And in my opinion, this should have been the season finale because there is fucking nothing that could ever follow it. There really, really is nothing that could ever follow it. That you can't follow The Last Car. And I, in show prep, made sure that I watched it last. Like I watched everything else in order. I skipped The Last Car after the old soft shoe, went back to it because there's truly nothing that can follow perfection. And The Last Car is perfection, man. Absolutely love it. An S tier, horror at its best. And the reason I love horror is The Last Car. Damn, most people bailed out of here, but that does happen with longer streams, which is understandable. I don't know. I think maybe it's the topic too. We haven't even had 10 people in here at a time tonight. So I mean, it's probably the topic because I think like it's funny with Crypt, a lot of people love it. With this particular show, not as many people have seen it. So I definitely think that hurts it. But like, dude, I don't like I said, whether there's a ton of you, whether there's not a ton of you, I really love just doing this and speaking about what I love. So that's really why. So, and like I said, you know, you guys are fantastic as always. Mateo, got to go catch the end later. Ciao, Grande in chat. Dude, Mateo, cheers to you, my friend. Hope all is well. And have a wonderful weekend, my friend. But yeah, like I said, I think it's just probably the show topic. Next week might be this way too. I don't know how many people are into Halloween Town, so I don't know. Maybe I think the Clive Barker show will get people for that. I think that'll probably be, and the Halloween specials I do always seem to get good turnouts. So definitely looking forward to those. But yeah, no, if it's a lesser crowd, it's a lesser crowd, no problem, man. I'm still talking Darkside and loving every minute of it. So let's move on though into season 2, episode number 20. This is A Choice of Dreams. This mobster, Jay Corelli, has terminal cancer. A stranger promises him his choice of dreams and power over death. The price, $10 million. Yes, where's the Dr. Evil, $10 million. This one stars Abe Vigoda, which is very interesting, and it's a much better version of the Life Bomb episode, but at the same time, I wouldn't say it's a masterpiece or anything. Abe Vigoda is like terminally ill with cancer. You get the idea that this guy has had these mob connections over the years, and basically what happens is he knows he's going to die, and this guy comes up to him and says, listen, for $10 million, I can make sure you dream forever, and you could dream happy thoughts and wonderful thoughts, and your body will die, but your brain and thoughts and memories and ideas will live on forever if you give me the 10 million. And Abe Vigoda at first tells the guy to go fuck himself. I'm not falling for that. You know, you're fucking, this, that, and the other. It is what it is. I definitely, get where he's coming from. He thinks there's a catch, but at the same time, he starts to do things that are very unmoral and unethical in and of his own right. And that's why I think the episode loses me a little. Like there's a really emotional scene where he's talking to like his right-hand man. And he's like, hey, man, I appreciate everything you did for me over the years, and you never betrayed me, and you could have, and why didn't you? And the guy says, hey, man, I had a good job. I liked being your right-hand man. I never wanted to be anything more than Robin. As you were Batman, I was Robin. He said, I never wanted to be anything other than that. And he felt that like he had accomplished what he wanted to accomplish. And I thought that was good. I thought that stuff worked. But then out of nowhere, this Abe Vigoda kills this guy. And it's just like, oh, I don't trust you. I'm like, what? Like, it made Abe Vigoda so fucking unlikable. And to the point where you get to the ending, the guy does fuck him over and he's going to dream nightmares and lectures the rest of his life. And that ending, while I think it would have been much more effective if you did like Abe Vigoda's character, it would have been like tragic. Like, oh my God, like, they scammed this good guy. Like, what? That's so shitty. Instead, they kind of go for, okay, he scammed a piece of shit. And I guess you're supposed to like cheer about it. I don't know. It just didn't work for me. I liked Abe Vigoda. You also have Dominic. I always fuck up his name. Dominic Chianz. I can't fucking say his name. He played Uncle Junior on The Sopranos. He's in it for like 5 seconds as one of the dream sequences. He's yelling at fucking Abe Vigoda. I'm like, holy shit, Uncle June yelling at Abe Vigoda. I thought that was kind of funny. If I had to rate this one, I'm gonna come in with like a solid B plus. It's the concept is so good. I just think the character of Abe Vigoda just lets it down. It's not Abe Vigoda's performance. It's just poor writing. I don't like how they wrote his character. I'm still here just saying, not saying anything. I'm not familiar with the show. Exactly. I think that's the big reason why we don't get a big turnout here. Oh, yeah. Miss C is a diehard Grande's Graveyard fan. That is true. That's top 10 Yit show. Grande is going to be, yeah, my ratings will go bonanza. Dude, it's funny, man. Like, if I did that, that would be so interesting to see the turnout. But I don't know how you would really do a format like that. Like, coming in at number 9, these Yits, well, they're legits. Like, I don't know what the fuck. Like, how would you do that show? Like, it would have to be a few minute video. Like, you could never do an hour-long show on it. At least I don't think you could. But I mean, I don't know. But yeah, no, that is the a case of A Choice of Dreams, which I do like. Next episode, though, the last episode directed by Theodore Gershony this season, which he was on fire. He was really, in conversation for best Darkside director in season 2. Savini would have to be in the running. Gornick would have to be in the running. Harrison would have to be in the running. I think Streisig would win, though, for The Last Car for me. But that's just me. I'm gonna have some caramel popcorn for the Yit show. Hell yeah, I could get sticky though. But yeah, no, absolutely. That sounds like fun. Let's see. So season 2, episode number 21. This is Strange Love, which aired on May 11th of 1986. A doctor makes a house call and finds his patients are vampires. Yes, directed by Theodore Gershony, written by Edith Swenson, who I mentioned before. This one's fun. I know a lot of people that love this one. I don't know if I love it, but I think it's fun. It's like this vampire goes to this doctor, says, my wife broke her leg. So he goes, makes the house call. He's like, oh, this is fucked up. You're going to have to go to a hospital. It's got to, heal properly. Got to put a cast on it, XYZ. And, once he gets to the house, the fucking vampire's like, hey, I'm a vampire and you're my slave now. You have to take care of my wife while I go out and get blood for us. And so what happens is he starts to kind of kink up a relationship with the lady vampire and get his freedom when the man comes back, when the vampire comes back, and he can't fight the vampire because he's a normal man. So what happens is, in falling in love with this woman, he has her bite him so he can fight the big bad vampire guy and take his woman and live happily ever after as a doctor vampire hybrid. Fun. It's well directed. I don't know. There's something about it was always missing for me. I don't know. Maybe this one really was hurt by the limitations of syndication. Like I would have liked if vampire sex. Let's fucking go out with that. Let's see some yets. Let's see ass. Let's see a fucking nice scene. They don't really do that here. I thought that didn't work. It definitely could have been a little bit more explicit. But again, with a show when you're condensed with these ratings, there's only as explicit as you can go. So I think maybe that's why, maybe the cutting the balls off of this episode hurts it for me. It would come in at like a B for me. I think Strange Love is like a B plus maybe on its best day. I know a lot of people love it. It's like considered like a top 5 episode of season 2. I like it. I just don't love it as much as some of the other ones. So, I mean, it is what it is. But let's see. Let's go on here to the next episode. We only have 3 left here. Sorry, folks. I know I'm going a little long. Season 2, episode number 22, aired May the 18th of 1986. This is The Unhappy Medium. Televangelist Fairly Bright, the founder of the Church of the Bright Tomorrow, has died recently. 3 greedy relatives gather for the reading of his will, but Farley hasn't finished communicating with them yet. Yes, another Edith Swenson tale here. This one I thought I was going to hate. I ended up kind of liking it. It's your classic like greed story where these 3 people want to just, take this guy's money who's passed away. And then from beyond the dead, he starts possessing each one of them in the room. And they do have an excellent use of color and lighting in this. Like they have this great split lighting where it's like half is red or pink and the other half is like baby royal blue. And I loved that. That was all done through all the possession scenes. A split light down the middle, and then the person's eyes would roll back in their head and they would speak. Just for that alone, I was like, this is a passable episode just because I liked that visual and I liked how that was done. But also at the same time, the dialogue isn't the greatest here. Like it definitely like a Rod Serling would have done this a lot better. But yeah, no, I don't know. This particular episode, I think has a good style. It doesn't have the greatest writing. So it's kind of a yin yang here. I think most people probably put it as C plus. And that's probably where I'm going to put it too. I think it's a C plus. I think it's okay, but it's nothing to run home about. It's nothing fantastic. It's one of those. It's more lower. I think it's one of the lowest rated episodes of the season. I didn't think it was terrible, but I certainly didn't think it was anything special either. I think this is something that the Twilight Zone would have got better. It would have been like better to see a Rod Serling write this script, do a rewrite of the script, and still have the style in there because the style worked. The director did a good job. Dusty Nelson. Not Dusty Rose, but Dusty Nelson. I think Dusty Nelson did a damn good job directing. So I like that episode okay enough. It's like a C plus. Let's see. Miss C, the real question, do we get to see Yiddies Now by the Bay? The funny answer to that is it could have happened. So what happened was when we were on set, I posted some screenshots. Jasmine, the character's name of Jasmine, she's in a yellow dress. And the actress, Courtney, she was telling me, she's like, listen, like, this fucking dress is not containing me really well, if you know what I mean. I was like, oh. And she says, listen, like, if I move a certain way, my fucking yits can pop out. And I'm like, oh. And then we all like joking, we were like, well, that's fine. We were all kidding. And then my assistant got very upset. He was like, no, that's not that type of film. And then she even said, she goes, it's a fucking horror film. And we all died laughing. I was like, dude, like, yeah. My assistant definitely did not come from the world of horror movies. It just wasn't familiar with them. So I mean, that is what it is. But yeah, he was like, this is not that kind of film. I was like, dude, fucking yit pops out. Yit pops out. I ain't gonna fucking whine. I was like, we're all fucking adults here. But we did end up giving her, like, she had an undergarment, like an undershirt, to protect the yitties from popping out. So that's what we ended up doing. So there is no yitties. There's some side yits, there's some side boob in there, which you might like. But yeah, no, it is not that type of movie, though. He ended up being right, but definitely something that it was funny that did come up when it happened. Yeah, no, for real. I just had a thought. Top 10 Yiddies and Dusty Rhodes reaction. Let me tell you something, Haley Atwell, baby. It makes me want to get on my knees, and it makes me want to pray to Allah, if you will. Talk about hard time. That's the hard time that my trunks and the polka dot spot and sweet sapphire is going to have to take me home all night long, if you will, Cody. That would be amazing if that happened. If I did a fucking top 10 and Dusty Rhodes, but I would probably die because I don't think I could do that for a whole show. Let's move on here, though. Last 2 episodes here. Sorry about this, guys. The show's going way too fucking long. But Fear of Floating, Season 2, Episode 23, which aired May the 25th of 1986. At an Army recruiting station in Arizona, Arl Baker asked for the protection from the Coopers, who are trying to hold him hostage as the human balloon in their circus. However, the Coopers are nearby and have a different story to tell. Of course, this one stars Howard Sherman, who you might remember from Day of the Dead as Bub. Hello, Bub. He's Bub. He's the guy that plays Bub, and you see him out of zombie makeup. And it's funny how different a looking guy he was. He was just a normal looking guy. I only really seen him in interviews now where he has this beard or like neck beard, I guess. And then at this time though, clean shaven Howard Sherman. So cool to see him out of the makeup. And this is a weird setup. Like, he goes to the fucking military thing. It's like an empty military base. And he's like, listen, I have this weird thing. I float. And they're like, what? And he has these weights on his feet. And like, if he takes them off, he flies up to the ceiling. You're like, what the fuck's going on? He tells this whole story how they want to hold him hostage to be an attraction at a circus. And then the fucking people come in that he's apparently running from, and he's actually running from them because he had sex with their underage daughter. And you're like, bro, what? Like, this is fucked up. This is so weird out of left field. And it's the lady from Maximum Overdrive with that awful voice. I can't even do it. I'm not even going to try to do a bad imitation, but like, that lady's voice is just, like fucking nails on a chalkboard, annoying. Awful, awful stuff. So yeah, no, you have her in this, and then like, he's like, I really loved her, and you learn that he floats only when he lies. So like, Pinocchio's nose grows when he lies. This guy, if he fucking lies, he floats to the ceiling. I don't know, stupid one. I would say it's the weakest episode of season 2. I don't like it. It's a D for me. It's not quite a failure. It is cool to see Howard Sherman in there. And I guess some people might find it funny. Like, there's probably somebody out there that finds this episode funny, but I just didn't. I didn't think this one worked for me. So personally, the weakest episode of the season, in my opinion. Okay, Don't Want to Kill You, Grande, Dusty Rhodes only for top 3 of these. Okay, fair enough. But Haley Atwell, if you had to ask me, like, woman alive today, it would be Haley Atwell. That lady is amazing body, amazing rack. So yeah, that takes us to the season 2 finale here. We are finally here. Season 2, episode number 24, which aired July the 13th of 1986. So it's funny, they took a break from February to May, and then from like May to July. So I don't know why this season finale aired so far later. They might as well have just made this a part of season 3, which I know they did less episodes. They did 2 less episodes in season 3. They might as well have just thrown this in there, and it would have been 23 and 23. Yeah, it would have been 23 each, which would have been fine. But this is the Kavan curse. Beautiful Gina Kavan claims to be under the spell of decades-old family curse because everyone with whom she falls in love with dies mysteriously. Yes, another Edith Swenson joint. It's like Edith Swenson, save her for the end of the season. They have like 4 of her 5 episodes all at the end here, which is kind of funny. This one stars Catherine Parks, and speaking of good-looking women, she plays Vera in Friday the 13th Part 3, who I always felt should have been the lead of Friday 3. I think that actress, that character, was much better than Dana Kimmel as, what the fuck was the character's name? I forget the character's name and fucking she's one of the worst final girls is Dana Kimmel in the Friday the 13th movies. I love the chase at the end, but I always felt Vera was the best actress in that movie. Like better than Tracy Savage, better than the other lady that gets the fucking fire poker. Like I think Vera should have been the lead. And in this episode, man, they have her in the fucking loosest nightgown I've ever seen. I actually don't know how they got away with it on syndicated TV because basically you can see her yet. And she has a crazy body. Like, holy fucking shit. Captain Parks is a good looking woman. And the movie kind of opens, or the episode opens where she's crying in the bedroom and she's, oh my god, I killed him, and there's a woman knocking at the door. What happened? I killed him, I loved him, and I killed him, and take me away, just put me in prison. And you're like, what the fuck is going on here? So she has this family old curse, the Kavan curse, where if she falls in love with you, she turns into this demon at nighttime and will try to murder you. And basically, after you have sex with Catherine Parks, you're dying. Which, you know what? I'm signing up for that. That is fine. If I'm dying, what better way to have sex with fucking 1986 Catherine Parks from Friday 3 and then get killed by a demon afterward? I mean, is there any better way to die? I'll fucking wait. Hold the fucking do for me. And, you know, I like this idea. I think it's an interesting idea where this woman is beautiful and voluptuous and all these men want to be with her. And if she falls for them, they will die. And of course, you know, there's some weird things in the episode, like her fucking cousin wants to fuck her. And he's like, oh, we'll break the curse, you know? And she's just like, I don't love you. He's like, yeah, I know. That means you won't kill me. Because if she doesn't love you, the odds are that she won't try to kill you. And then this other detective is like, we'll be okay. We'll have sex and it'll all be fine. Of course, it's not. And things escalate. And there's a twist at the end that I never saw coming, to be perfectly honest with you. But I like this one. I think Catherine Parks does a really good job as the lead. She's good to look at. It's intense. It's bloody. It's one of the more gory, graphic episodes of a show that was usually not that gory or graphic. You do get some interesting like stabbing and like scratching and body laceration, shit like that. There's some gore here. There's definitely some gore here, which I appreciated. And I thought Chasm and Curse was a really, really good way to end the season. I would say it comes in at a solid A. I really like Chasm and Curse. So yeah, no, I think this is an awesome episode. Directed by Frank De Palma, too. I forgot to mention that. Very good stuff, in my opinion. And this, of course, is season 2 of Tales from the Darkside ranked. Now, yeah, how crazy that. So we got 3 S tiers: Halloween Candy, Devil's Advocate, The Last Car. If I had to rank those 3, it'd be The Last Car, Devil's Advocate, Halloween Candy. I'd actually go in reverse order to how they are. It's like 1, 2, and 3 for the season. And then if I had to do top 5, let's take 2 out of the middle row. That should be really tough. I think fucking Ursa Minor would have to get the number 4 pick. And then it's tough because the Impressionist I thought had a great heart to it, and so did Ring Around the Redhead. But Trouble with Mary Jane was the best comedy of the season. This is tough, man. I don't know. I think Ursa Minor at 4, and then I guess I would say the Trouble with Mary Jane number 5. But then the Impressionist and the fucking Ring Around the Redhead be right there. So that'd be 6, 7. And then, you know, the rest would fall in wherever they may. So, and then of course you only have 1 D in this entire thing, which is absolutely, you know, astounding that you only have 1 episode that's less than a C in this entire 24 episode season, which would be Fear of Floating, and only 4 that are a C. So literally 19 out of 24 episodes are a B or better. That is hard to do, man. That is a consistent episode, you know, run for a TV show in any season. And like, I bet you I've had Twilight Zone episodes or Twilight Zone specials where I didn't have that many in there. So that's wild. I really love this season. I know a lot of people have said it's their favorite season of Darkside or one of their favorites. I think it'd be up there. I still, for some reason, I know a lot of people say the first season sucks. I don't really see that. I kind of love the first season. Like, I don't know. I think of any of them, maybe season 3 would be my least. And then season 4, I think, is arguably the best. But like, I don't know. I think overall, man, you can't argue with how good of a season this was, man. From top to bottom, I really, really like Tales from the Dark Tide season 2. So really, really like it. Chris, she's kind of useless. Yeah, she sucked. Not a fan of Friday 3. I have a whole theory. It's not really a Friday 13th movie. Well, that's interesting. Definitely will have to hear that some other time. But I've taken up too much of your time tonight, guys. So I want to say, thank you for those who did tune in. I know we didn't have too many people in the house tonight, but this was a lot of fun. These October shows go hard, right? Next week we'll be talking all things Halloween Town, number 1 through 4, of course, with Halloween Town, followed by all the way to Return to Halloween Town when they recast, of course, Marnie with Sarah Paxton, which would be a fun conversation. But everybody, I want to thank you so much, and appreciate you guys checking out the show tonight. And I guess I could do the dark side outro, like because it is written here on the shirt. I think it is. Yeah. The dark side is always there, waiting for us to enter, waiting to enter us. Until next time, try to enjoy the daylight. Yes, love that outro. I always thought that was a great outro too. Paul Sparrow nailed it. Great episode as always. Missy, thank you. You're here for the word go. I appreciate that. Everybody, thank you so much for checking out the show. If you like this season, if you like some of the episodes I talked about, let me know where they rank for you. Let me know what's an S. Let me know if they have any Fs. Let me know. Next week, Halloween Town. And then, of course, after that show, Down by the Bay, when the clock strikes midnight after next Thursday show, will debut live on YouTube in 4K ultra high def goodness. I hope you guys will be checking that out. And I'm excited to hear the feedback next week only on the Graveyard. And until next time, try to enjoy the daylight. Good night, everybody. Thanks for watching.